But that was a good rebuttal, Ricksky. Thank you. Okay, what about this? If you guys had 24 hours to live, would you become a flat earther for 1 hour?
What is it like? What's the
Couldn't
gonna?
become a flat earther. I couldn't force myself to believe the earth is flat. Like, it's not like, could you become a basketball player for an hour or something? Like, you're talking about forcing yourself to believe something that you fundamentally don't believe.
That's like
Would you really be that surprised, though? Would you really be that surprised if you found out like everything just is like it seems it is? I mean, there's really that something that you have to like believe in so hard, and it takes so much. Like, oh, it's stationary and level, just like it seems. There's no way I could possibly believe that.
Yeah, considering that there's so many things we've shown you all that shows that it's a globe. Yeah, I would be gobsmacked
Concept.
if it wasn't a globe.
Yeah, you're saying concepts are more real for you than just what you observe.
Not
What
concepts, actual reality.
Yeah, just concepts.
No, actual reality.
Well, yeah, well, you can't show that it's actual reality. What your reality is
show it
seems
in
like
1,000 different ways.
Yeah, but that's just 1,000 different concepts, bro. I'm just making funny because it would be. I mean, it's just like it is like it seems. That's not like a belief of any sort. It either is like it seems, or these 1,000 concepts are totally true somehow. That's the belief. You have to believe in 1,000 concepts. That's the belief. Not like, oh, my reality is just like it seems. Oh my God, shocking. You got to stretch yourself to believe in that, don't you?
Concepts based on third-party information and usually a sandwich of assumptions as well, layered sandwich of assumptions.
Assumption Oreos. Assumption O's.
With cashew milk.
Gio, did you see my neutrinos? My neutrinos meme I made on the fly earlier.
No.
For the neutrino discussion, I'll repost it. There's like 3 different flavors. Sounds like a good cereal.
Yeah.
Someone's made one before, but I couldn't find it. I got Cheerios and neutrinos thing. So I just made my own fly.
Nice. Sounds tasty. I have some food for thought. For anyone who believes in reincarnation, would you want to be reincarnated in the future as yourself, or in like maybe one of the families that rule the world, quote unquote rule the world?
Well, I missed it. What was the choice?
Would you, if you had a choice of reincarnation, would you want to maybe reincarnate into your life, just like restart from the beginning, or would you want to be like born into like one of the families that quote unquote rule the world, one of the in the inner circle? Let's say if there's an inner circle within the United States military or government, or the people that run the U.S., the White House, essentially. In that sort of family, that group of families, would you want to be in that family, or would you want to be in relive your life in your family?
Because it's funny, yeah. I think it would suck to be in that family for sure. I'd rather be who I am. But this kind of goes along with something I ask people about reincarnation. Would you rather? Here's one for you. Would you rather? Okay, if you found out reincarnation is real, you get to choose to remember all your past lives or remember none of them. Which would you choose?
Oh, I think I'd want to remember personally. I have some great memories.
You'd want to remember all the past lives? if
I
you could
think so.
choose?
Yes. Yeah.
You'd have
Then I
like
could
all these
be
different lives. Yeah.
for sure. Then I would ace every class. I would be like honor roll, everything.
Yeah.
I would have a lot of fun.
Seems like the obvious choice. I would say that too. I'd want to remember for sure if it's possible. But some people choose that they wouldn't want to remember too much. Like, I don't know. There could be a drawback to it as well. Anybody else
Yeah.
want to answer?
Anyone else believe in reincarnation or?
No, the question is if reincarnation was real, would you want to remember all your lives, your previous lives, or would you rather just be born fresh? You might not have that childhood if you remembered them. I mean, it depends on how soon. Like if you were born remembering them, that'd be like really confusing for a baby. That'd be really kind of strange for a baby to have all those memories. But maybe you wouldn't have that childlike stage, which is the whole bliss of childhood. That you don't remember anyway. But
Or
anybody else want to?
or until we learn the vocabulary that we could express these memories. Because I think that's happened with some other child. In America, there was a story where this young boy seemed to have this memory of a past life of being a fighter pilot. And he remembered everything. He remembered dying, supposedly, in the aircraft. And I think it spread somehow. I forgot how it spread, but the wife of that man who supposedly died was alive. They somehow found who he was claiming to be in his past life, and they introduced the young boy with the mother. Has anyone here seen that video? I'm sure someone here has seen that.
Yeah,
Not that
I
one,
have.
but
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's an
I've
interesting
seen it.
case.
It's fascinating. Yeah. Didn't they hook him up as well with one of his old war buddies or something, like the guy that was in his squadron, and they spoke about a mission or something. It was crazy. Assuming it's true, how could this kid know this information?
Yeah, there's two theories. There's probably many theories, but I think the two popular ones are it's really true, which wouldn't surprise me. Or I mean, that's the other theory, John, is maybe you've heard that there would be like spirits telling the child because they've been here longer, and so they would just maybe whisper in his ear or something like that. If that's true, that seems a little bit more logical to me. But I'm open to both, I guess.
Yeah, it's another one of those you can't. There's no proving it or disproving it. I guess you're either convinced or you're not.
Yeah, yeah. Seemed pretty convincing to me, anyways, initially.
that'd be weird though if you could remember all your lives, all your past lives. You'd remember like all your past deaths too. Like you would be, as you're being born, you'd remember that you just died, and like all the other lives
Wow.
were like all the good, the bad, the whole lives, all those lives would be like there for you as soon as you're born. That'd be crazy. But I mean, what if that is?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a technique. There's actually a technique. My friend said that he could do this session with this guy, and he didn't believe it. He went like 3 times. The third time was a charm, I guess, because he didn't believe it. When finally the third time, he was shown how he died in 2 previous lives, and he totally believed it. And he was like very skeptical, not trying to like make anything up in his head. But there's a technique that maybe special people have the ability to do. If you could remember all your past lives, think of what an advantage that would give you and the group of people that know how to do that.
Yeah.
You'd also be more like if you knew that you'd reincarnated, then you would be like you wouldn't be afraid of death at all anymore. You'd be like invincible in other ways.
No, the problem with that though, like at one level you think, gee, I wish I could remember everything from previous lives, and then I could not do the same dumb shit this time round. But the flip side of that is that if you could remember everything from your previous lives, you could actually use that for evil as well. You could use that to do bad shit with the knowledge that you'd gained previously. So that knife sort of
Yeah,
cuts
where do you
both
draw the
ways.
line?
Doesn't it?
it gives you
Great
such
point.
an advantage. You would take advantage of it without even thinking because you've done there, done that. So you're gonna be better than everybody else at everything. So would that be an evil of its own? Maybe I don't know. Yeah, it would be a true test of how you take advantage of it or not. I guess. But John, would you? You're saying you would want to remember your past lives, or would you rather just be born fresh if you had a choice?
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of because you're always trying to be better. I am anyway. I just you learn stuff along just the journey of life, and you figure out shit that I did when I was 25 was actually not great necessarily for me or the people in my life or whatever. So now I go out of my way not to do that stuff anymore. So imagine if you had that library of information available of all the things you've done previously that didn't end so well, that you could then access that to just be better, better, smarter, sharper, wiser, kinder, nicer, all of those things that hopefully we're all trying to be.
I think there's something to it. I mean, I believe Gio when he says he remembers his past lives. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't try to brag about it or bring it up just once in a while. He'll drop it. He remembers. Gio, are you there? Like, is there a technique? Just teach us the technique. I want to try it. Teach me. Give me a PDF or something. I want to see if I can access past lives, memories, whatever process is. I mean, if that's possible, and we know somebody that we actually think possibly did that, we should be like hounding them for it. Really, when you think about it, that'd be amazing. Gio, give up the goods. DM me, just DM me.
Would anyone want to come back to this crazy world too? Right? Some people don't want to come back. I guess depends on the scenario. If you're gonna get a cushy place, I guess people would definitely want to come back. I guess.
Funny that we know that it's crazy, but we don't really have anything to compare it to, except for like the past. Is it crazier in the past? Maybe, some way. But is it crazy compared to another reality that we can compare it to? No, we don't have any idea. Maybe this is like really, really tame compared to a lot of possibilities. I don't know. It's all relative, I guess.
That's what they say. Yeah, it's all relative.
Oh, there was a cool video I'm going to post. Everybody should watch this.
I got this. Just the way to look at things. So it doesn't matter. I used to say this about my children when they were growing up from babies to 21. Every single stage of their life is just amazing and phenomenal and awesome, and it sucks all at the same time. And I think you can look at history the same way. You can look at your own life the same way. Like there's parts. If you went back to the year 557, there's probably parts of life back then that were amazing and wonderful that we no longer have. But there's also probably parts of life back then that were shit, and we're glad we don't have them anymore. So yeah, it's a matter of
For sure.
if you could go back and extract the little gold nuggets, that would be great. But it's the same as living now. Like, there's parts of being alive now that are probably the best of all of history. Like if you cut yourself on a rusty fence, you won't die in a week in 2026, whereas 300 years ago you would have. So there's parts of right now that are amazing, but when you look around the world, there's also parts that are terrible. So I don't know. Would you want to come back?
Right?
Yeah. Why
Some
not?
people,
Why not?
yeah. Maybe if some people treat it like a game, like a video game, and they want to be one of the heroes. So let's say if they died and they get an option to come back in, I guess some people would be very happy. They'd be jumping at it, no matter where they appear. You know what I mean? And that would be interesting because I guess like the majority of the world, they don't have a memory of a past life. I guess just at base, without maybe getting someone to look into it potentially. But so that's just an interesting concept. Someone wanting to come back in to fight the evil. but then they have to start over again, and they don't even remember. So I
Okay,
wonder
I
if
found a video. I found a video. It's in the chat. Actually, someone should probably share it at some point if they want to do even now. That's a good one. I just.
Intelligent, powerful species on the planet gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied. Build a society around them in which those who have money benefit and those who don't fail. Make money their main focus, but make it so difficult to accumulate that they remain in a place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet.
Can you tell me, like, everything I need to know?
Yes, I can. And I've already actually said it. Everything you need to know is this. Truly, this. Whatever options are available to you at any given moment, choose the one that contains more excitement than any other, even if it's just a little bit more. Act on it to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. Do this with integrity. Do this with absolutely no assumption, no insistence on what the outcome ought to be or how it should look or how you should get there whatsoever. When you do that 3-part formula, act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on the outcome, you open up and activate the kit, the toolkit of excitement. The toolkit contains everything you need to be supported in life in whatever form it needs to come in, the driving engine that moves you through life, the organizing principle of synchronicity that allows you to do what you need to do when you need to do it in perfect timing, in perfect order. It becomes the path of least resistance that allows you to flow through your life effortlessly. It becomes the path that connects you to all other expressions of your excitement, even if they don't look like they're connected on the surface. It's the excitement that tells you that they are. And it becomes the reflective mirror that reveals to you anything within your consciousness that might be out of alignment with that excitement so that you can identify those definitions that don't work for you and let them go and add their energy to your excitement and continue to expand. And then any circumstance whatsoever, any situation whatsoever that arises from those actions, no matter how it looks, If you give it a positive meaning, you will only get a positive and beneficial effect, regardless of how the situation may have originated, regardless of anyone else's opinion or experience in that situation. That's it. That's all you need to know. Now, many people on your planet choose to complicate things beyond that and make them more difficult, but they don't have to. If they do, then that's their process. But it all comes down to understanding that what you believe to be true, what you define to be true, is how you experience your reality. And that your beliefs generate your feelings, your thoughts, and your behaviors. So anytime you have a behavior you don't prefer, a thought you don't prefer, a feeling you don't prefer, you can always trace it back down the line to something you must believe to be true that you're not aware of. Find out what that belief and definition is. When you identify it, if it's out of alignment with your true self, you will find that it will suddenly be nonsensical and illogical, and you'll drop it and let it go. If you don't drop it, if you still behave the same way, you haven't found the deeper belief yet. Keep digging. That's it. That's all you actually need to know. And one more thing. As you do this, as you move through life in this way, acting on your highest excitement, you will start living.
My question is, can you tell me like everything I need to know?
Yeah.
You too, as always.
Oh,
Bring
thank you,
it in
man.
the house.
New P, what do you got? What do you got? Anything new on the dual pole?
I haven't worked on it recently with E1 at all. We're planning on doing that. The war thing was kind of distracting for a bit for him and all that. So, but yeah, nothing. I mean, plan on making better graphics and make the middle wider, because the sun seems to go out like almost straight down the celestial equator, out west, almost like it goes straight west, and then it either goes north or south, up and down. But maybe it goes out further than the graphic I made makes it seem, and it would take care of some of the sun positions, sun areas that seem a little more accurate with equinox and stuff like that. But yeah, it seems like, I don't know, it's pretty solid for, it's just an electromagnetic field. That's pretty compelling, I think, no matter what you think, no matter what you believe. What you think the Earth is, you have to be somewhat compelled. I imagine you have an electromagnetic field, and that's what star patterns look like exactly. And that's hard to say that that's not compelling, I would bet. Do you know how it works at all? Have you looked at the videos, Rigger? Have you looked into how the details of it work?
I kind of sort of understand it. I just see problems with it. You know what I mean? Things that I can't.
People assume there would
figure out.
be just looking at it. What are your problems that come to mind, or just not? What would your, like, even if it's not right or whatever, distance? Okay, so like what?
Yeah, like the layout between certain areas.
You mean continents?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Well, it's not to scale. You have to take that in consideration, I guess. It'd be a lot more water in between if you scaled it, right? But it would be that layout. You know about the international date line, how it works with that? Did you get that part of it?
Like you're saying, how the sun travels?
No, the international date line is like the line that would go down the back side of the blue side of the ball. That
like
really,
where it
like,
starts from?
Together. Yeah, well, if it goes pole to pole, it'd be like the true circumpolar navigation.
Yeah, how the whole thing's like offset type thing.
Well, it's like it's where they stitched it all together. Like if it's a dual pole flat Earth, they took the ocean surrounding all of the dual pole, the two areas, right? And then they just sealed the ocean back in like a toupee, or like a comb over. And they took the top and the bottom and they pinned it together in the back. And that's where the international date line goes. It's from pole to pole, but it's down the backside of the ball. If they wanted to prove it was a ball, they would have like gone straight up the backside of the blue side of the ball from pole to pole, and showed us that it's a ball. But they haven't done that. Now, if they do it, I think it's too late. They should have done that by now. That's the circumpolar navigation people are actually talking about. But when you look up on Wikipedia and just ask it, is it possible to travel from pole to pole on the international date line? It's an interesting answer. It basically says that you can't do it.
We should be able to.
If it's a ball, yeah. But that's where they hit it, because it's in the middle. That's like in Point Nemo, where they plan on crashing the ISS, like in the middle of the ocean where nobody goes, in the backside of the ball. That's where it'd have to be.
Do you know why
And
they
the way
chose it for the ocean?
why they chose what?
What's that?
Do I know why they chose what?
The international dateline in the middle of the ocean?
Because it's directly opposite of the prime meridian.
Yeah. Do you know why they did that?
That's because they keep time that way.
Right. So it wasn't to hide anything. It was because really nobody lives there. And so to stick the change of days there makes the most sense, unless you think there's a better spot to put it.
Well, if it's a ball, then that would make sense. But if it's not a ball, then it's the same reasons they have it there. Because it's just, if the sun goes around the north in the summertime for us in the northern hemisphere, then as the sun crosses that 12-hour mark from the prime meridian, that's where they would mark the time. And then it's all squiggly too. I'm like, if just Google, can you go on
Yes.
a ship
Do you know
from
why it's
pole to
wiggly?
pole across along the
Yeah.
whole international date line? You'll be interested
Do you
in
know
the,
why
the
it's
answer. Is
wiggly?
not like, yeah, because of political reasons, they'll say
Well, right. Yeah, because it
areas.
was, yes, it's a
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
man-made
not trying to claim anything
picture.
about the squiggly, but it's
Yeah,
just
it's not an
it's
actual
patched
line.
together there.
Yeah, it's not an actual
Yeah,
line.
if it's a dual pole, then it's halfway up the north and doesn't actually connect with the one that goes halfway down
Yeah,
the
it
south.
would make no sense.
Well, no, it would make sense if you actually can't cross it and everything works the same as a ball, and that would be the one thing that would prove that it's a ball, but no one does it and has ever done it.
Well,
And
Dateline is crossed
Wikipedia
every
or
day.
Google says you can't do it. Yeah, the claims are that they cross it and they go even the opposite direction over it. But when you look at like the actual claims of that, it seems questionable. Plus, there's armadas of ships that is one of the things you once showed me, is that these armadas of ships are just sitting all along that area.
Airplanes cross it
They
every
would
day.
block you from going.
Hundreds.
That's the
Well,
claim, right? That's the claim.
and
But
no,
it's
airplanes do cross it every day. You can track them.
I know you believe it, right?
No, you can track. No, you can
But if
actually
they're
track.
trying to make us think it's a ball, they would have to make it seem like ships and planes go across those lines, right?
If you fly to
You have
China
to
from the U.S., you will
consider the
cross it.
hypothetical, Wesley.
No, if you fly to China, you will cross it.
That's what you will cross it. Yeah, if you go north, you cross it. If you go south, you cross it, right? You can cross it. Doesn't just because it's a flat Earth doesn't mean you can't cross over one half or the other, depending on if you're going north or south. But can you go from pole to pole down the backside of the blue side of the ball? Somebody would have done that. They wouldn't just do
Why
this
would you
like
have to
we
go
did
down the
the
international
circumpolar navigation with the Pan Am flight that dips down in Antarctica, as if they went around the whole ball, which they never did.
Why
Show
would
me
you pick
evidence
the
that anyone's ever
international
done that.
dateline? Why would you pick the international dateline as your route?
Why would I pick it? I didn't pick it.
Yeah, that's your claim.
For the circumpolar navigation, that would prove it's a ball.
Yeah, why would you do it on the international dateline?
That's what they call circumpolar navigation, because everyone knows you can get down the front side, right? But if you could go down the front side from pole to pole, and then from pole to pole around the back side, then you could, I mean, who knows if we believe somebody that said they did that, or even have evidence of doing it, if they don't even have anybody even claiming to do that, you would, I mean, if you wanted to prove it's a ball, you could go from pole to pole, from North Pole to South Pole, down the front side, and then down and then up the back side.
Most of the flat earthers
Pole to
don't
pole.
think you can do that. So they don't think circumnavigation is possible. So the front side doesn't.
Most flat earthers don't even think there's two poles. So, I mean,
right.
so they,
You just said that nobody thinks everybody thinks you can do that. That's not the case.
No, I never said everybody thinks you can do that. I'm saying if it was
Yes,
a ball, you should be able to do that.
You said everybody believes you can go on the prime meridian, but not on the international dateline. You literally just said that.
Oh, okay. No, everybody does it. Right. You're right. I shouldn't have said that everybody thinks that, if that's what I said. I meant that if you're aware that there's two poles and it's a flat earth, you would think that, yeah. But you can't. But going up the backside of the ball has always been kind of the true circumpolar navigation people are talking about.
Why would it matter what you believe in? If you go pole to pole, that would always be the same side on a flat Earth. No.
No, I'm talking
It
about
doesn't
for
matter.
proving it's a ball. You would go pole to pole down the prime meridian from pole to pole in the front or whatever. If it was a ball, then you'd have to have the backside, the blue side of the ball, be a ball. Then you could go from the South Pole all the way up the backside of the ball to the North Pole, straight pole to pole. But when you Google, is it possible to travel? It'll say technically no. Is it possible to travel across the entire international date line from South Pole to North Pole? But you should be able to if it's just a line that goes up to the backside of the ball. It's a ball, and people should have claimed to do that because it would prove it's a ball. It would be strong evidence towards it's a ball. Who knows if any claim is actually real? But they don't know. I don't think they even have a claim that they've done that. Did you ask if you could fly along it, or did you ask if you could sail along it?
It's like with skis, but they've got a sail on top, so you could do that to the water and then get on a
I
real
could just say travel. I could just say travel instead of sail.
Good caveat. Well, like we could wind sail across it.
You could have Sherpas build a canal.
True.
But with the
Nobody has ever traveled the entire exact international date line from pole to pole in a single unbroken journey.
Exact is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
New perspective, would you accept doing the 180-degree longitude line as opposed to the international date line?
You mean like just don't do the zigzag thing?
Wait, sorry, what'd you say?
As long as you went up the backside of the ball is what you mean? As long as it's a longitude line that goes up the backside, it doesn't have to be the crooked line.
180-degree longitude, which is mostly.
I mean, it's not that I would either accept it or not accept it. I'm wondering if anyone's even claimed to do that. I mean, is there
I'm just wondering
documentation?
why you're stuck on the international date line. Nobody thinks that's a straight line, but 180 degrees. 180
I'm not trying to say it's a straight line.
I know. So 180 degrees would make a lot more sense than the international date line if you used it that way.
Yeah, it would if it was something that where somebody actually went up the backside of the ball in some manner from pole to pole, that would be effectively the same thing. Yeah.
Why the international date line though? It's just completely arbitrary.
Well, on a ball maybe, but it wouldn't be for the way that somebody was asking me about the dual pole, and I was mentioning that's one of the key factors if it is a dual pole, that the international date line doesn't actually travel all the way through. It's broken in half.
You would need. I think we would need it around a planar world as well, obviously, right? Because we got the sun, the time zones. So either way. And wow. Welcome, Taylor. And everyone else.
What's up, Tay?
But right, new perspective, we would need like this on a planar world either way. Maybe they just chose that for a specific purpose. It'd be interesting to see what's there. Are you saying that there's nothing there right now?
Dead opposite the UTC prime meridian.
It would be broken in half. That's the thing. It would be just like the oceans are surrounding all the continents rather than wrapping into a ball.
Did you draw that line?
You might not even be able to
map?
tell.
Or does anybody have a whole map with that line highlighted on it? The date line?
Not at the moment, but that's a good, yeah.
Does anyone have a dual pole map with what?
With the international date line highlighted on it or drawn on it somehow. Or even just the time zone dual pole map would be sick. I haven't seen that either.
Well, the one I post usually, I mean, you've seen that one, right? That has the international date line on it. I guess I'll post it since I'm talking about it. I'll post the graphic.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll post this one with the red X's on it because that's what we're talking about. Where I have the red X's, that's where the international date line would connect if it was ball. Those red X's.
Oh,
But
so the
if you
lines
just
are
went north.
the date line's the blue, going south of or down from south and up from north. Gotcha.
Yeah. And I have it actually labeled with a little like text.
I guess like
So, yeah,
even in a, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna go off into some imaginary world, but if you wanted to say something related first, and thank you.
No, go ahead. I forgot what I was gonna say now.
Okay, I'm sure it'll come back to you, but thank you. I was just thinking, imagine in a imaginary world or realm where there was like constant sunlight. The only way to escape sunlight was just by going indoors or something like that. I wonder in that sort of world, you wouldn't have time zones. I guess it would be universal time everywhere. But what about here? We got all these time zones. Could we have a universal time everywhere?
We should.
You have enemies?
Temporarily, yes.
Well, that's sad. I'm sorry about that because that should not happen. That means somebody's getting a little too emotional.
Beasticles, what happened to Celestial Theodolite? I debated Alan, and then you guys stopped doing Celestial Theodolite like permanently. What's going on? Did I destroy it completely?
I mean, you have a presentation every week for like a year straight. You know.
Oh, so it's another
coincidence.
Oh, it's a coincidence. Like the normies were saying, it's a coincidence with what you guys were talking about. Now this is a coincidence for you. You're defending that as a coincidence.
Or just like Battle of the Beams, the refutations have been weak as fuck, and you move on. You find a different argument to prove.
Oh, it's just my argument was
what
so
you
bad.
believe.
It ended Celestial Theodolite because my argument was bad. It just got stupid to
Here's
have.
an example of
Battle of the Beams.
Someone considering another person as an enemy.
And
Oh,
I
definitely,
totally
yeah.
get
Beasticles
that,
is definitely an
Bungie,
enemy. Look, he's wearing the
because-
I'm a hacker fucking profile picture.
Yeah.
And he defends Celestial Theodolite, TFE. What else? Wits, it goes to the
And
moon.
given enough time, they will be friends eventually. But right now,
I feel you, Fundy.
at least one of them considers the other the enemy.
Yep.
Listen, I
Battle
don't.
of the Beams?
I actually like QOP. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what happened to you, bro.
You guys
You just
started
hate
lying
Christians.
to us, and I noticed. I know when people are lying to me, dude. And if you guys pay me, I wouldn't care. But you lie to me, and you don't pay me.
I never lied to you,
That's
bro.
funny.
I've always thought you were retarded.
Oh, good one.
But you know he's not.
Did you just sell yourself? If you guys pay me,
Yes,
what
dude.
is this?
I have no problem with
Do you
all
imagine this
these agents
trolling
in these rooms. If Omnivore paid me, I would sell fucking pharma, dude, to your fucking normies.
So this is like a taxation, like
QOP,
what do they call that? Protection
I'm half
tax or
joking, bro.
something?
I would hand out back.
Rick, I apologize. It's not nice of me to say just you're retarded, bro. But it's just you want to find an evil, bad boogeyman, and you want to simplify an argument to that when life is way more fucking nuanced, bro. Way more nuanced. The Celestial Theodolite, right? We're basically doing an internal critique on the idea of using a celestial sphere to figure out your position on Earth. That's it.
It's not an internal critique. It's literally a method for claiming they measured the flat Earth because of their assumptions.
No, dude, it's basically showing that all they did was make observations of stars at certain times of the year repeatedly, right, periodically, and basically attributed an entire type of correction called sight reduction tables, right? Basically refraction corrections in order to get the observations to conform to an idealized sphere that's locked in with a time, a coordinate, and a starting point, which is the first point of Aries. Like, so now you have your
It
exact.
just
Now you
feels
have your
sad
reference
at this
frame.
point.
It's literally the Glober method you guys started trying to sell to flat earthers.
It's
and
not,
it's funny.
dude. The
I
Glober
think it's
method
funny.
is not the
I would
Glober. It's
laugh
a
with you if
conceptual
you guys paid
model.
me, but instead I'm going to call you out if you don't pay me. So
It's
So
not
if you stop
reality.
talking about it, he's going to stop talking about it, and then what? We're going to presume that he's paying you or something, QOP?
what?
Well, if you stop talking about it someday in the future, right? Like in a month, what if you stop talking about it?
Everyone stopped talking about it because I destroyed that shit.
No, I'm just trying to follow what your lead is here. Like, why do you keep asking him for money, like to shut up money or whatever? It's just so weird to do it.
That's kind of weird.
It's kind of funny.
QOP, what is the a star sets beyond a mountain? Don't you think it would be different on a globe or a planar Earth? And then
But how would we know, dude? They literally switched it from the flat Earth has the earlier occlusion, and then they switched it to flat Earth has the later occlusion after, some way. I don't know exactly when they did that, but they did. So it's
It's
all
not that we
just,
switched it.
it's all
It's
just
not that we
cherry
switched it. It's
picking,
that
and
like
it's
you found out that like, oh wait, we're retarded. It's not an actually earlier time to Steelman the Globe model.
I mean, no one cares about the celestial theodolite in the first place, so I don't even know why we're talking about it. No one even puts
Because
any credit
QOP brought
towards
it
it.
and he thinks like, oh, that's some big gotcha. Oh, you must be paid. Like, dude, we play
Yeah,
video games and
I'm
we
not
sit in our
interested
room
in
all
talking about
day.
the
Like, what
celestial
the like?
theodolite. No one
No,
takes
but it's
that
like,
seriously, so we
I
can just
thought it was
move
cool.
on.
All right.
It's the fact that QOP doesn't think that we're like normal people. We're just fucking people, dog. Most people are just people. Yes, there are agents and paid people out there, but I'm like,
just thinks that
the
Beasticles is a
idea that
wizard.
that every single person is one of them. It's a tough mindset to live life like, bro. Like, I'm a
Okay,
Christian
We
at the
can
end of the
stop
day,
talking
dog.
about the
you're just
celestial
patronizing me.
theodolite. No one actually cares about that. No one puts any weight towards it, so we can move
Listen, I'm
past
just
that
trying to
topic.
extend an olive branch to the QOP, dude. That's all I.
Neither of you have extended any olive branches towards each other. It's best that we just move on and you guys can talk about this somewhere else.
All right, so Fundy, I don't know why you're trying to shut down the conversation, but QOP. So, do you think it would be different on a globe and a flat plane, the way the star sets?
No, I think the globe is reverse engineered from what we see. So what we see optically changes, and that's why celestial theodolite, just like everything the globe does, is something that isn't like a static. This is always going to happen now. That's why their data was all over the place, because the occlusion timing is different depending on the atmosphere.
Okay, I'm
Did
not
he
sure.
cut out, or was that just me?
I think it might have been you, but
I heard it all.
He came through clean. It's just you.
could you say it? I don't know. Could you say it again? I don't know if I fully understood. You're saying it's all just arbitrary because
It's all change. It's an optical thing you're seeing. So there's no way to like, it's the globe that claim when it's the true position and when it's the apparent position, and they started basically doing the same thing that the globe does, which is claiming to know where the true position is based on all their assumptions and stuff.
You know that pay me thing you just said, QOP?
You got a check for me?
No,
I was
I believe you. You
telling
sound.
Israel this
Let me
guy.
finish. I believe you. You sound believable. And the last time I heard that was a few years back with a person that's in this room right now, which I'm not gonna name, and he put a $5,000 tag on it. What's your price, QOP?
It depends.
How much does it take for you to lie?
It depends
So
on the
you got
lie.
a
How
good question,
egregious
SE.
it is.
Is everyone checking whose names are in the chat right now?
It's
Which
where you
one
got to
of
go
you
on
was it?
camera, where they give you the microphone QOP, and you're speaking to millions.
Very
There are a
interesting.
few of us, that we're pretty transparent that we're paid to be here. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bob isn't totally wrong.
No, for
Wait,
sure,
Jake,
for sure,
Jake,
Jake.
you came out of the closet?
Who's paid to be here or what?
Well, QOP, if, let's say if you're speaking to millions, do you want $10 per head? So that's like 10 million. Let's say if you're speaking to 1 million, do you need $10 a head?
Paid to be here.
Hey, Jake. Wait, who's paid to be here? What's obvious? Who? You?
There's a few of us that are paid to be here. I'm paid to be here, for example.
By who?
Yeah, me too.
I mean, NASA.
Yo, what the fuck?
I'm
What are you
paid
guys
to be
on?
here by
Me three?
NASA.
Like,
I'm in the NASA skill
It's
department.
we're paid by various political action committees to fight against the flat Earth movement.
Wait a minute. Gio said I had to pay to be here. Damn it.
Wait, which political action committee is funding campaigns against the quote unquote disinformation about alternative cosmologies or flat Earth?
Yeah, I'm not. I had to sign an NDA, so I can't disclose the name. But
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Can
He's
we
trolling.
pay you more than they pay you? What if we pay you more?
But SE, it's a good question. QOP, are you just trying to
Every
be a
man has
shell?
his price. What are you willing to offer up?
Hey, QOP, are you just basically being an anti-flat earther, basically promoting your content that shits on other people's content?
How am I an anti-flat earther? What are you talking about?
Because you shit on other people who are fucking creating content.
Celestial
That's all you
theodolite
do.
is a Glober method. Everyone knows that. That's a real flat earther.
So you basically make money off of shitting on other people's content. Great. Good job, dude.
No, I expose retardation until I get paid, and then I'll push some retardation with
Oh,
you guys.
until you get paid, so you're a fucking shill. Good job, dude.
Yeah, because the truth does
Now,
not. You don't make
Beasticles-
money pushing. Dude, no one's interested in my videos. Like, there's like 10 people that watch my videos.
Oh, I
dude.
wonder why. Maybe because you're a fucking shill.
No, because it's too fucking nuanced and too based, and most people want some,
You're sad,
controlled,
dude.
controlled up normie bullshit. Like, there's
I'll pray
aliens
for
coming
you.
and some garbage. Like what Witsit makes videos about. Oh, you're gonna put your hands together and think about Jesus fucking half naked? Yeah, that's gonna save my life. Thank you.
Yeah, if I'm
Come
right,
on.
then you should basically pray even harder, bro. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, think about Jesus.
Are you gonna be
doing
so
that.
why are you so
Are you gonna picture
blasphemous, bro?
Jesus when he's got the towel on, or when he takes it off to dry the feet?
You're right,
Well,
Gio. I shouldn't have tried shifting the conversation away from QOP and Beasticles. You're right. I was doing something wrong by trying to shut that down because I didn't see where this was heading.
Well, you seem
No,
to
I was saying you were shutting down the celestial theodolite discussion. You were saying nobody cares. Let's move on. But Alan did presentations here for like a year. A lot of people showed up for it.
A year.
A lot of people seemed to care. We also people debated it in here for hours and hours and hours, going into the details. So it just didn't seem accurate.
Yeah, I put a lot of my fucking time and energy into it, Fundy. Like Jesus, man.
You make it.
There's a reason why.
You make a good point, Gio. And my rebuttal is, and we see where that's gotten us. Nowhere.
Oh, go watch another Terrence McKenna video and break it down.
I love Terrence McKenna lectures.
You see how I can just shit? See how I can just shit on what you think is interesting?
Pretended to enjoy that with us? What the fuck?
No, I'm just saying. You see how I can just shit on what you think is interesting and just be
You
totally
said it was interesting too. We
lame?
watched it with you.
The celestial theodolite is interesting, especially to Globers because they
What's
bet
wrong? What's
all
wrong
they
with
put all
Terrence
their
McKenna
eggs in their
lectures?
basket on it, dude.
It's especially interesting to Glovers because it's their method.
Yeah, that's their
What
bread
kind
and
of
butter,
attack was
dude.
that?
Anytime you add,
Are you trying to
anytime
shit
you
on Terrence McKenna lectures? Who
right,
would even do
no,
that?
no, dude, no. I'm using an analogous example.
Why don't you go watch another Terrence McKenna lecture? Yeah, I will.
You don't
I
have
enjoy
to.
them.
I'm right here.
What problem do you have with Terrence McKenna lectures?
I don't actually have
I'll
a problem
defend
with
that.
Terrence McKenna
Then why did you tell me to go watch another one sarcastically?
because it's something
Dude,
that you
already know you're
like.
fucked up. You're not ready to participate tonight, so just
No,
take a
you
break,
don't
dude.
understand why I'm doing it, dude. I'm saying I don't care. Like, I don't want to shit on something that you're interested in and try and shut down the conversation just because I'm not interested in it.
Because there's no reason to.
Oh, and you're the
Funny, he just
arbiter
used
of
it
what
as
gets talked. Yeah.
He just
So
used it
Q
as
up.
an example of the way that
So Q up. You're on a debunking wrecking spree. What's your next target?
Whatever
I don't
gets
know,
me the
man.
most views so I can get paid because I'm a
That's
fucking
not-
chill.
I
No,
literally
he's
was
after
just
truth.
saying that's not what I'm doing yet. If I get paid, then I'll make garbage content.
What about the biblical flat earther? Do you want to try to debunk that, or do you think that's impossible?
Hebrew, like a basic firmament model or something.
Yeah, similar to the Persians, the Babylonians, all those other cultures.
I think
Do
the
you think you
firmament
could
is pretty
debunk that?
pretty stupid idea. These glass dome people things.
So your morals are for sale? Queue up.
Can I get a bottle
Seems
of
like
Hey,
it.
what?
Your morals are for sale?
Yeah, I mean,
Around the
I
place?
don't have zero morals, dude.
Are you joking when you say that? Like,
No,
so
he's not joking.
You're
No,
saying
he's
that
not.
money is more important than truth to you, and you're just publicly admitting that?
No,
Yes.
because I
Yes, it
would
is,
still
'cause he
get
lied
no,
about
I
me
would
in this
still
video.
know the truth.
Hold
I
on,
would
let
get
him
the money
answer.
and the truth. It would be the sheep that get fuck. They're already fucking falling for the retardation. So why do I care
No,
if I?
yeah, he doesn't care about lying, dude. He literally lied about me
But
in his
everyone
video and
believes
didn't
the
show
lies
all of the.
already. So I'm just
Oh, so
giving
you're
them
just
what they already
lying. So
believe.
it's justification. Okay, got it.
Can I get a 66 Petrus Beasticles?
A what?
A 66 Petrus.
6 or 7?
So QOP, if you're saying you're only going to do it like lie to the sheep or whatever, then who are your like your best flat truther people that are on your side? Like who are you with out here? Like who? Because I know you think everyone's agents and shills and everyone's fake. So who's real? It's you and who else? In your view, who's the real one that's with you?
Like you want me to make a whole list or one person?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. It seems like you're saying everyone's fake and shills, like in basically the whole thing. So, like, is there? And then you were saying, oh, if you got paid, you would lie to all the sheep, is what you just said. So, who is that? Who is your team that you're lying to the sheep with? Who are the real truthers for you then? If it's not everybody here and everyone in the whole community, then who is it?
I don't really have a team.
So it's just you. So you're the only
I
real
did hear.
truther in the world.
I did hear QOP say he would tell the
McToon. I think
truth.
McToon's his buddy.
Oh yeah, McToon. You're with him now. You've done a bunch of shows with him, I guess.
I usually debate him when I'm on his stream, but
And you guys kiss behind the scenes, I heard.
is that that's kind of weird.
So is it impossible for people to lie about the globe for money? I mean, I don't think so.
It is impossible.
Dude, who is hot micing?
Thank you, Robert.
What's that noise on here?
Or Zizi.
Fucking Rob digging another fucking tunnel under Israel.
I think it's Z. I think it's ZZ.
No,
Someone's doing the dishes or something?
His Beasticles take another bong hit.
So, Robert, you say it's impossible?
I'm on the bus, bro.
What?
Hi, Rob. So you're saying it's impossible?
No, it's this guy.
The hot
It's
mic
Roundy
is Roundy
Radian.
Roundy the Radian
Yeah.
is hot mic.
Yeah.
Everyone found it at the same time.
Yo, I got him first, bro. Would I win?
I think I did.
What the hell was going on, dude? What was it?
Can't believe you guys are
Wow.
just like entertaining this QOP guy after he slandered
Yeah, fuck this guy,
everybody
dude.
so
What a
bad.
loser. Let's get rid of him.
It's QOP, dude. Hey, QOP's been around
I'd
a
kick
long
him.
time. He just over the fucking line. He's just over the line. He's just way
That's
too
crossed
far
the
into it.
line too far.
Should we
He's
all
just a loser.
Should
It's not
everybody
that crazy.
talk with their grievances one at a time? We'll
All right,
grievances with
one at a
QOP.
time. Everyone, give me your best insult. Let's go.
Well,
Hey, listen, QOP, I don't
I
give
don't
a
think we
fuck.
should
Like
pay
what
it.
you decide to use as content, just try not to lie, bro. Don't lie and don't be like, oh, I can lie
I
if I get
haven't
paid.
started
That's
lying yet. I
crazy.
want to get paid to lie.
That's
Don't
crazy,
take it
dude.
personally, guys. The government is
Dude,
lying, right?
why?
They have to
Why
lie.
is it crazy, dude? My truther videos not lying is not getting. Is not no one. It's not.
Doesn't matter. It's the
blowing
truth,
up.
right? You shouldn't give a fuck.
But no one. It's not getting. It's not blowing up on the internet. So I gotta make like
Oh,
some
cry me a
hidden
goddamn
videos about
river.
space aliens.
He's asking for payment, and now we're all paying him attention. Is this really what we're going to do?
So, Robert, you were saying it's impossible for the people to take money to lie about the shape of the Earth? That's pretty easy.
Well, I haven't got my paycheck this week, so hold on a minute.
You don't really think it's impossible though, because that's a huge claim.
I'll happily sign you up to the pack that it's paying me, Robert.
Yeah, sign me in. I'll sign the NDA.
no, you guys are doing it for free because you're actually interested in this. It's a totally different scenario. You guys are actually like thinking the Earth might not be a globe, so that's why you're into this. You're not getting paid.
You guys are just
Are you
judging me
pulling,
for
are
wanting
you
to get
pulling what I
paid.
did on you last night? Are you turning the tables?
Well, now Gio's saying it's worse to be retarded and like a sheep that believes it and likes it than someone that lies. And you guys are giving me shit for wanting to get paid. It's a lie. It makes no sense.
We don't want to hear you.
Wait, what are you saying? I said I didn't say that.
You just said that Robert being like a sheep that actually likes it and believes it is like worse than like him if he got paid for it.
I didn't really imply it's worse. I'm just saying his scenario is that he's just into it because he's into it, not because of any, being some.
I think Robert gets paid.
Well, flat Earth is pretty fascinating, right? It's like gold, basically, information gold.
Crop. So would you preach globe Earth if you got the right amount of money for it? Would you become a glober?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he'd be a horrible glober, dude. He makes the worst arguments. I wouldn't want him on my
Debate
side.
me right now. I'll go. Go ahead. You stupid flat
Yeah,
earther.
just think about that. Just think about your return on investment there, Jake. You might not
We
get
have
some.
astronauts in
You might
the
not get
ISS
value out
right
of it.
now, dude.
Post the first video
How do you
of the
think your
globe.
cell phone works, dude? It pings off the ISS.
You know, QOP exposed VapeGate, so you should give him credit.
He exposed VapeGate. Oh my god, that totally helps us determine the shape of the Earth.
Celestial theodolite, that definitely shows the shape of the Earth.
That one's big, dude.
He exposed rigs and VapeGate.
At the very least, we expose stellarium using overcorrections for refraction, no matter what the scenario actually is, which means you actually have no physical, tangible proof that the Earth is curving. That means that the curve is only an optical effect that's based off of timing. So you guys are the one that's fucked.
Hey, France won today, Beasticles. 2-0.
Well, Robert, I have a question for you.
On it, please.
I have a question, Robert. Why don't we all do a phone call live? We can call the NSA tomorrow. We'll pick a time, and we can maybe set a schedule for one of their the communicators in charge, and we can start asking them about the flat Earth. Would you be interested in leading that phone call?
Where do you even find that number?
It's public.
That
I
number's public?
I won't be involved in that. Thank you, though.
I mean, they're listening right now. You can just
They're
ask
already listening. If anything, right, with AI. But yeah, I know. Like, who wants? Do we have to draw straws?
God's always listening to my boys. Who gives a fuck anymore? Just be
By
good.
the way,
Just be good.
everybody here has to join QOP server.
Wait, so I'm still thinking about this. So wait, QOP, if you're saying just publicly that you'll get paid and you'll say anything, how do we know you're not getting paid now and that all your points right now are not really what you think and they're all just from what you're being paid for?
And pick one of the things I say and tell me what's the psyop that they would want.
I mean, we can't trust anything he says.
Well, I'm just asking in a logical sense, not necessarily like getting into details. But I'm just saying if you're just publicly saying that you'll lie for money and you're making that a public announcement, how do we know now that you're not like? How do we know that any of your positions are genuine, or if you're just getting paid to say them?
I think there's a few more things you'll do for money.
I'm not saying you are getting paid. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, just if that's
but all my takes are like opposite to like everything they want like the mainstream to believe. Like I don't even have a control.
Right. You don't take it from the opposite.
You could be presenting really bad arguments on. You could be representing bad arguments for the right side.
Yup, making us all
angle.
look bad, bro. Acting like you're some kind of McToon hero.
But he does.
What kind of word salad was that?
QOP does debate anybody.
Got
I
that
haven't
from
seen
Ken
you guys
Wheeler.
on modern day debating people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you've thought through this proposition of like just blatantly asking for money out loud in the public, like as if it's some sort of qualifier for.
No, not yet.
Engaging
Rick
with you or
Sky,
something.
not yet. I haven't got paid yet. Like, who the fuck said that?
Well,
I think
truth equals money.
I'm not putting out this rumor, but I think that like when you've done a lot of the stuff with MC Toon, I think some people were speculating that MC Toon was throwing you $100 here and there or whatever to do all this, to like partner with him or whatever.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
What you could do,
That's
QOP,
what
is
they
you
would
could,
say.
Bro,
start a Globe channel and make it
money, and they fucking super chat a lot.
Exactly what he would say.
Dude, no way. Big Toon's gonna waste money on QOP. He probably just said, "Oh, I'll mention your channel. Is that good enough? I'm gonna fucking use you." And QOP is dumb enough to go with it.
Witsit mentioned his channel.
Witsit doesn't give a fuck about his channel. He cares more about his kids and his
Bro,
psychopath ex-wife.
I got Witsit to mention my channel, and I got
Yeah, you
like
guys are not living
subscribers.
in reality,
I had
dude. This
people
guy's
DM
been
me
dealing with
from
this shit for years.
I had people DM me from Witsit's channel, thanking me for waking them up to Witsit's psyops.
Yeah, you guys are just evil. You don't give a fuck about other people and how
Bro,
they
come on,
actually live. Like, I hope you're in a good situation, QOP. I really do. I know you're in like Maine or whatever, but like, and you know, I really do hope that you're living well, you're sleeping well. Like, I hope you have a good well-being, dude. That's the point of
Beasticles,
like
don't be a
coming to
hater.
the truth. I'm
Don't
not
be a
being a
hater,
hater.
Beasticles.
I'm
Come
not being.
on.
He wants to get paid to lie. That's not a good. That doesn't help you in the long run.
I'm
If
not.
that's what he truly wants to do. It's crazy.
Maybe he has a good career in politics ahead of him.
The other thing, QOP, even if somebody wanted to pay you to do something good, like, don't you feel like you're just shooting yourself in the foot saying that you'll pay to lie? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say somebody was like
Who's
going to put
paying for
together.
us to spread the truth?
You don't even have to just say the truth, dog. Just like be honest. Just be yourself.
I
You don't have
do.
to
You
do
say that.
anything. I know you are. He is being himself, Gio. He did admit, like, I want to get paid. He doesn't give a fuck about us, the community, nothing like that. What he believes is what he believes. He doesn't care about anyone else. He doesn't need anybody else, so he's just gonna get paid for it. He's gonna ride whatever trend he wants to ride until he gets paid. Whatever. That he
Yo,
admitted it at least up front.
yo, QOP, don't be surprised if Ruhif gives you a call.
Bro, I
Try
ask
to
Ruhif
flip.
for money all the time, dude.
Well, now that you put it out there, because that's what he does. He flips people. He bragged about Ranty and the recent one that flipped with its friend. So don't be surprised if you get a call from Ruhi.
Yeah, money talks.
No, he's looking forward to it. Obviously, it's not about being surprised. He's looking forward to it. Literally, he's telling us right now.
Why are you like?
Q up, what's up, man? Yeah, I hope nothing bad happens.
I'm with you there, Lion. For real, dude.
And I hope that you don't get AIDS, HIV,
Wow,
and
the
die.
haters. The haters.
I hope
What's
that.
up with all the haters, man?
Bro,
Do you think
it's so funny.
Rob is
The
fucking
line
gay
jumps in
dudes
and
or
is like,
what?
I hope you don't get STDs.
I hope.
Wow.
That is a pretty
You're
thing.
just
That's a pretty wild thing to
Zion.
hope for, Lion.
That's a very
Zion.
specific thing not to hope for.
They're
That's
all
because he
jealous
believes in
because they're
STDs.
not in the server.
Well, Ruhif brags about flipping flat earthers, so don't be surprised if
Hey,
you get a call.
listen, I love all you guys in here. You crazy motherfuckers. I don't get to talk about
It's
this shit with
alcohol.
anybody. You guys know that, right? You
I
do
don't
realize how many people we actually talk to about these topics, like in real life, like no one. So I
Yeah, it's
appreciate you
definitely
guys
alcohol.
being able to
Only
talk to
alcohol
me on the
makes
bus.
so only alcohol makes you say I love you to random strangers.
I do though.
Are you
Love you,
um
man.
are
I
your
love you.
fellow
Love you,
passengers?
love you, Peter.
Jesus
Do
said
you
that
use
to you
this
too.
It's just I'm just being genuine, dog. Like no one talks about this shit. You guys realize we're fucking nerds, right?
What is it?
You can
115
talk
in
about
Vegas?
flat Earth.
Beasticles?
You're
I think
here.
the
It
heat.
is.
Yeah.
It is pretty hot. But
Fucking,
yes, flat Earth and any other topic, you know.
He
You're
was
here.
bragging that he flipped Jeranism just a while
he
ago.
didn't, he didn't flip Jeranism.
That's what he claims.
He's full of shit. Jeranism switched on his own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ask him. Ask him.
Jaron was ready to flip.
He was bragging about flipping Ranty also.
You know what's crazy? I still have that clip from Jaren when he was talking. He was just talking like on his Jarenism show or whatever. He had like people calling in. Someone was calling in, and he said, "These are the three things that I would actually flip for or whatever." And none of them were the shape, but one of them was the Earth being in motion. He said, "If I say that the Earth is in motion, I've been compromised." Straight up. You remember that, Gio? Remember we found that little clip?
Oh, Jaren. Yeah, I remember him saying that. I
That's
A lot
think.
of people say things. So David
Yeah.
Weiss says things. Eric Dubé says things. They all said something, and then the tape comes
I
back.
honestly
to
don't
them.
trust either of them, to be honest.
Well, they're the gods of flat Earth, aren't they?
I don't treat the topic as in like, oh, this guy, this deity, this deified guy represents an entire topic of information. That's retarded, Jake. You don't need heroes, dude. You just need to know what the truth is.
Everyone confuses me
They
with
are the
Jake.
reasons. They are the reasons why
Do
you're a
Robert
flat
and I
earther.
sound that alike? I mean, do we really sound that alike?
No, you don't.
I don't know.
Robert,
No,
is that
you
how
don't sound
you,
alike.
is that how you view YouTubers? Like if someone makes a YouTube channel on a topic and they talk about it, you call them the god of that topic just because they made a channel?
Well, I mean,
Well,
a lot of
everyone
them.
knows
That's the
that
reason why.
Eric Dubay is like the guy that is like the flat Earth guy. You know, everyone knows
The god of flat Earth. Yeah, he
Or the
deifies it.
catalyst.
Yes.
The catalyst, maybe for many.
Because
He's also
most
an
of you are flat earthers because of YouTube videos.
No, but
Eric
what about
Dubay
this?
is
Hold on. What
vegan,
about
and
being before we go too
most
far
flat
about
earthers are
getting paid
primals.
off? Before we go too far about getting paid off, does any atheists here, are they willing to get paid off to believe in God? Like, what's your price? $1 billion?
I mean, you can't be paid to believe in something.
Yeah.
You can be
Who
paid
do
to
you
pretend
think?
to believe in something.
Who do you think are the atheists?
Yes, give me $1 billion and I will pretend
The
God
question was
exists.
for anybody who currently
Yeah, but
holds an
that
atheist
Eden,
position.
that doesn't work, Eden. That doesn't
I'm
work.
an
You
Do you
atheist. I'll
think
believe
all
in
I
God
Globbers
for
are
$1
got
billion.
a couple of guesses. I think
You can't
Coco is
be.
an atheist. Yeah, that's all I
Do you
got.
think all Globbers are
Can I?
atheists?
I'm an
I'll
atheist.
become an atheist just so I can take you up on the offer.
Shut up,
Hey,
Rick. It's not that
I mean,
bad, bro.
maybe
Keep making your
P think he
cameraman
might be an
dude.
atheist.
Oh, come on.
Yo, QOP. I just posted a thing for everybody to hear, so you don't think I'm lying. Ruhif bragging how he turned ranty, how he was on him 10 years. Listen for it to yourselves, guys. I posted it.
It's some sick gay shit. Like, oh, I turned that guy out. Like, you know what I mean? That's some gay shit. He's gonna do that to you, Q-Op. You really want that, dude?
You're
He's
next,
gonna turn
QOP.
you out? You're next, bro.
Oh,
He's gonna turn
please.
you out.
Wait, what? I just want to get
Get
paid. I don't
ranty
know what
in
you're talking about.
He said, wait, what?
You said, what kind of numbers are we talking?
Yeah, but SE, I don't know that Ruhif has ever said that he's paid any of those people. I think he just says that he thinks that he like influenced them or whatever, right?
Yeah. But he's known as the money man, right? So he puts money into these endeavors, shall we say?
It's the same. It's the equivalent of like a gay guy who prides himself on like sleeping with a straight guy. Like, oh, I'm fucking hot. That guy, oh yeah, that guy's not straight. It's the same shit.
Why are all your analogies gay?
No, it actually sounds. If you listen to it, Ruhif sounds like he has a little bit of sarcasm in his voice.
All right, fair enough. Doesn't matter though. I don't give a fuck about Randy or Ruhif. It's about the information and like what is actually true. You know, what's empirical to an extent. You eventually get to the point where empiricism falls flat, right? There's certain metaphysical things that science can never prove, and then you get stuck along the same exact fucking square one that you're at. Like, what is the point of
Not
life?
necessarily.
What is actually the truth? No, once you find out what the truth is, then you can arrive or whatever. You can finally stop looking. Right?
Yeah,
That's the goal.
if you only look at faulty information, sure.
Beasticles,
Yeah, but-
admit it. You want an invite to QOP server, right, Beasticles?
No. It's weird. You're weird. I don't know if you're comprehending what's going on, Robert. That's fucked up. I'm the one that's drunk too.
I could pull some strings to get you in there if you want, you know.
I don't know. Is anyone else picking up what I'm putting down about like the truth? Eventually you hit a brick wall and then you get to the metaphysical and you have to figure out like spiritually like where you're gonna be.
No,
Or
I
is
don't
that
need
just
that.
me?
I need actual physical
Yeah.
evidence, not just like making up things in my head.
Well, I agree with you, Peter. So, but that's a good question, though, right? So, what sort of level of evidence do you require? And when it comes to truth, I have a question for the room, though. Since we're surrounded by potentially a lot of deception, what is your way to determine the truth? Does anyone have a succinct way?
Everything's
Does anyone have a succinct way to sum up how they are able to filter their information to find what is true and what is not?
I mean, some stuff you can't, right?
critical thinking evidence.
Great
Okay,
point.
in one word, so if I were to explain it in like 1 or 2 words, it would be Bayesian inference.
If I don't look at if I don't look at anything, if I don't look at anything else around me,
Bayesian
I
inference.
just say, well, I don't feel the earth moving, then yes.
No.
Why wouldn't
My
you look at
question.
it?
My
if I
question
block
was,
everything else,
how do you determine truth? Like what? How can you succinctly sum up how
truth
you
about
determine
what?
truth when surrounded by misinformation? How do you
Yeah,
determine what's true or not?
Have
You have multiple sources saying the same thing.
Oh, you guys understand his
So
question, right? He wants to know what your
so
baseline is.
by
Multiple sources
Bayesian
saying the same
inference.
thing.
Look that up. Bayesian
I would have to have
epistemology.
multiple sources saying the same thing.
Okay.
That
Anyone
don't
else?
interact with each other.
Wait, you're appealing to consensus then. That's your way to determine truth?
So multiple sources that say the same thing that aren't interacting with each other.
That's appeal to consensus, yes.
So what's wrong
You don't
with that?
think that can, because people
What's
can
wrong
be
with that
bought
though?
out. Prime example, QOP. People can be bought out.
That's not
The
appeal to
narrative can be
But
the narrative
what's
can
wrong
be
with
crafted.
You're talking to
what's
Earth
wrong
is
with
life, and I'm the prime example of being bought out. Are you kidding me? He's
what's
in the
what's
military
what,
base right now.
what's wrong with it? No, I'm not actually. What's wrong with that though?
Oh, you're off.
If I get information
What's
from multiple sources,
Is anyone willing to
because
just
that's not
say
not
out
sufficient.
loud how we
okay,
all
so should I
operate?
just so
There's
what
an
should I do
honest
then?
answer that we all operate upon. Is anyone willing to actually say it?
So what should I do? Should I just listen to like 3 guys on the internet, or should I listen to 100 people saying the same thing?
No, you need a transcendental
Neither
appeal.
of those two
You
options
need to
are how
appeal to
any of
Okay,
something
us
higher
so
than
we
decide.
can
that.
never find truth then.
One at a time. I want to hear everyone's opinion.
So what you're saying, we could never find truth.
No, B-ball,
So
let me,
no
can I
one's
respond
gonna
to your
actually
point?
just
Hold
say
on.
the truth of how we all operate the exact same way, and no
Yeah,
one's gonna
we asked
say
Jesus.
how that is.
If I go to 10 doctors and they all tell me that I'm dying of cancer,
Okay, more
and then I
steel
go to
man. Okay.
one doctor and he says, "No, you're actually not dying." Who should I listen to?
The one that says you're not dying because he's not going to give
Oh,
you chemo.
right, the one doctor. Okay, that's a great idea. That's great information.
Yeah, it
Here's
definitely,
a
because
better
then he won't do anything and they fucking poison you.
here's a
Right.
better
Earth is life.
analogy.
Is there anything else you would add to that, or is that does that encompass everything?
That could be anything.
No, I
So,
mean,
people, I
are there
wanted to
anything you
respond to
want to?
that. So, I think it's an interesting point, and potentially there's like a spectrum here. So, if you go too far with, like, let's say consensus, you might miss the truth because there could be either large scale deception or just a lot of people could be wrong about something, which is the case all the time. I mean, there's even just a lot of things. I mean, back in the 70s, 80s, they were saying cannabis like fried your brain, and now that's not a thing. They know it doesn't do that. So stuff like that. So you could have gone with consensus back then and thought cannabis fried your brain, and it doesn't. You would have been
Yeah,
wrong.
but
So let me
but
hold on. Let me just finish my thing. I'll just
Let him
because I
finish.
could say a lot, but I know everyone wants to get in right now. So I'll just say, okay. So on the one hand, it could go too far, but on the other hand, in good faith, I will say I hear what you're saying, and actually, some level of consensus can also be good. You know, for example, let's say you wanted to know if someone was a good practitioner in something, and if you talk to like 10 different friends who have all gone to that person or something and you got a positive review from all of them, especially if they're also people you trust. So anyways, I'm just saying there's like a spectrum where, like, in my view, where like you could go too far on the consensus side and that could be problematic. In fact, that could lead you away from truth. Or you could use some level of consensus, maybe especially when it's from people you already trust, to actually strengthen or actually, glean a possible truth based on that, if you're able to do it that way on a positive side.
Absolutely. So anyone else? Unless B-ball, do you want to add anything else? Like, do you think that encompasses? Yeah, go
If you
ahead.
trust anyone nowadays,
Yeah,
like,
you could go as far as
that's
saying,
not good.
well, I saw 50 TikTok videos saying that if I eat this specific herb, it's gonna cleanse or whatever, cleanse my in fucking colon or some weird shit like that. And it turns out that herb is actually deadly to you. But you listen to the whole bunch of people on TikTok.
That's right.
So in that sense, consensus will be bad because you're getting your information from random people on the internet that probably are not experts.
Yeah, so maybe that shows that maybe you need to work on how you can filter truth. I want to help you maybe work on that. Do you think there's anything
No,
else you can add?
no, I would know. Like I said, you don't just go to random people on the internet that are probably not experts.
Yo, let me get in real quick.
Go for a lie.
Yo, no,
Let's hear it.
yeah, this is the thing, bro. Like you're using appeal to consensus and appeal to authority. In this case, right, you're kind of talking about TikTokers, right? How they're not an authoritative figure. That way, you could still hold your appeal to consensus as a reliable methodology for acquiring truth.
Yeah, it depends.
But
It depends on how.
no, but the thing is, they're both fallacies. They're both appeal to authority and appeal to consensus is
So,
fallacious
so
reasoning.
how do we
No,
ever
I'm not.
arrive?
Hold
at
on, bro.
absolute
Wait, let me
truth?
finish.
Hold on, please let him
Yo, can I
finish, and then you can respond.
Holy shit. Yo, I'm not saying that you can't acquire truth this way, right? But truth is supposed to be solid, eternally immutable, right? Like never changing. Now, you might have accidentally came across a truth appealing to authority or appealing to consensus, but that doesn't mean that it's a reliable method for acquiring truth. It's a fallacious method.
Okay, so again, in a situation like that, you have to look at the individuals that are giving you this information.
Great
Right? What
point.
credentials do they have?
Absolutely.
Who are they? Who are they from? What's their background? Right? If they don't have a
Absolutely.
background in that specific topic, then they're probably not good to listen to.
No, that's still
Can I go
fallacious
next?
reasoning.
Yes.
Vice
Why is
versa.
that fallacious?
Even hold on. Even an idiot, right? Somebody who never graduated high school can still convey truth to you, right? And on the opposite spectrum, a doctor with multiple PhDs could convey a lie to you. Just because they have a degree doesn't make them any more truthful per se, right?
Okay,
Just
okay.
like
So let me
you
ask you
can
a
have.
question.
Hold on,
Right,
hold
let me
on,
ask you a
hold on,
question.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
He's
hold on.
not saying that.
He's
though.
almost
Hold
finished.
on.
He's almost
Right here,
finished.
last one right here, right? You could have 95% of the population, the consensus all agree that fluoride is good for you and good for your teeth. But the reality could very well be that fluoride is actually bad for you and bad for your teeth. Go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. You got 15 doctors, right? Really, really good physicians that are telling you, hey, if you don't stop eating this specific thing, you're gonna have colon cancer, right? You got 15 different doctors telling you this. You're not gonna listen to them.
I have an
No.
answer.
Well,
You have to appeal to somebody, right?
No, there's no.
no.
Hold on.
You have to
Let him answer.
use
Hold on.
more to
Hold on.
okay,
Hold
go ahead.
on. Let him answer.
No, yeah, we have to appeal to something or somebody, right? In this case, you decide in your worldview to appeal to authority or consensus. You feel like that's a reliable methodology, and we're simply pointing out, dude, that's not an absolute reliable methodology. You can only get a gradient. You can only get a gradient of knowledge.
You
Truth is
never
supposed
said
to
it's
hold on.
absolute.
In philosophy, when we talk about truth is supposed to be absolute, eternal, and immutable. Like it's unchanging. If it's true today, it's true tomorrow. But according to your methodology, what might be considered truth today might actually change tomorrow, dependent on the consensus. Because the consensus could very well, hold on, the consensus could very well change next week, dude, if new evidence arises and all your doctors that you were appealing to were wrong.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, then it's not truth.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
Well,
there's
then it's
nothing wrong
not
with that.
truth.
The
No, it is
consensus could
because you
change.
thought it was
Absolutely,
truth.
I agree.
You thought
I
it was
agree.
truth.
But now you agree that the change is truth also, right?
What?
No, dude, I'm trying to explain to you that
when the
truth.
consensus
You're
changed.
using.
No, there's an extra step.
Hold on, bro. You're
Because now
abusing
you're
the truth.
agreeing.
He caught you with your hand.
Wait.
You're not
Now
listening
you're
to me, dude.
agreeing. Hold on. Now you're agreeing that because of the consensus changed. Oh, okay. Well, now we have to agree that the consensus changed. So now that's the truth.
That's what he's saying is absurd.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you, bro. The truth is immutable, eternal, and unchanging. If it's contingent
So when it
on
changed,
consensus,
you agree with it now?
and consensus changes, then what you had wasn't the truth. So how can
when it changed,
we
you
be
agree with it
guaranteed?
now?
Hold on, bro. How can
That's
we
not the
be
point.
confident? How can we
That
be
is the point.
confident? Hold on, bro.
So
How
when
can we
when
be?
the
Hold on,
consensus
bro.
changed,
Hold on. Listen to me, bro. Listen.
go ahead, man.
Listen, bro. How can we be confident, right? That when the consensus changes, that now we have arrived at the truth. When we thought we had the truth last week, But now this
Because
week
there's
the
new
position
evidence.
changed.
Because the new
Well,
evidence
then
has come out
then
about
it's
that
not
truth.
truth. Then it's not truth.
That
Go
no,
ahead.
no, because new evidence has arise from that
So then
truth.
you're basing it on evidence, not the consensus. Then.
Well, Earth is
So,
life.
so,
I
so
think you're
you're saying
missing the point.
so we shouldn't agree with new evidence then.
No,
Well,
Earth is
Evolve,
life. You're
can I
missing
say
the
that? You
point.
guys, let's try
I'm
to.
not missing the point.
Whoever's
Go ahead.
speaking, let's try to just give him the full mic because at a time. So I'll just go for like 20 seconds here. Okay, B-ball. So the thing is, but if the question was, what is the best like process about which going about acquiring truth? So if you're going
Yes.
about it in this way, like I think there's a lot of nuance to like authority and consensus. I think there could like a spectrum. There could be a negative version of that, but also potentially some positive. But even if it's somewhat positive, I think I'm understanding like where Lion's going, but is that really a good methodology though to get to truth? Like you could use it as information, you know, like file it in your mind. Okay, that person said that person said this, but yeah. And then if you're going with the consensus thing, the authority or consensus, and that if it's just going to change, like you guys are saying now, if it's just going to change overnight, then that would mean that the original thing you were told was wrong. So if your process was to try to get to truth, basically you failed in that case,
That's
getting to
fine.
truth because it just changed. But then you might be failing again. You might be failing again. You might be failing again. So it seems like potentially a failing method, or at least not like a buttoned up, like really solid method.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
But it's fine.
Does
if
anyone
it's
want to go
changing,
next?
because we have new evidence that's come out about that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just new evidence has come out.
Okay. Does
And then
anyone
the
else want to
consensus
give
changed. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead.
Thank you.
When you
Fizzler.
talk about new evidence, what you've got to realize is that evidence that you were relying on in the first probably didn't have very strong foundation. And I'll give you an example of it. Is in like the medical establishment, you'll have these government recommendations that get put. And what's happening right now is vitamin B9 in the UK. In America and Australia, we've been putting folic acid into flours and cereals and that, and it's actually very, very harmful. They did a study about seeing what it does for pregnant women. It's meant to help iron metabolism, but what it actually does is it actually inhibits iron metabolism because it makes the body reliant on it. And this synthetic folic acid is not a fat soluble vitamin. And so what happens is they recommended this thing. It's kind of like thalidomide. You know, it took the government 50 years to apologise for that. And you know, you have these public health recommendations: eat a low-fat diet, and you know, sweeteners are great, and you know, have as many seed oils as you can. These are all agriculture industry funded studies that they use to say this thing is a benefit. These public recommendations come out, and then they can't go back on it because they'll feel liable, right? And they'll so you have these bad practices that get
Let's go back.
recommended for years and years.
Can I reply?
Yeah, let's go back because we're all inundated by information, right? Let's focus on, because we should all, since we're in the world, right? Don't you want to have the best method to determine the truth? So maybe after this conversation, unless it's too boring for you guys, I'd love to hear your opinion.
All right, I want to say one thing real quick, just back to just kind of a semi-joke to B-ball, but it's not really a joke. Okay, B-ball. So basically with the method you're going about it now, if the consensus in the future changes that the Earth is not a sphere, but it is a stationary plane, would you just look back on all this time and say, well, I guess I went with the authority, I went with the consensus, I guess I was wrong all that time thinking it was a globe, because now the consensus is to a planar stationary Earth. And if that was the case, and that means that right now, your whole version of seeking the truth would have been not getting to the truth.
That never will happen.
Great question.
So B-ball, is that what you're going to say,
Oh, here-
B-ball?
so-
If the whole
so
if the,
here's the-
if the
so-
consensus and the
hold
authority
on.
change in our lifetimes, which I do think was going to happen. So
You know what,
if that
Gio?
happens, are you
Gio,
going
hold on.
to say, well, I guess I was wrong all that time because you went with it?
Gio, I would absolutely say I was wrong. But you know what would have to happen? Lots of things would have to be fake. Lots of things would have to be wrong. All the evidence would have to point in that direction. And absolutely, I would change my mind. Like, well, the consensus has changed.
Smart
Happened in the
man.
past, it'll happen again. So
Smart man. So I was hoping to hear. Oh, go
But
ahead,
if your
Robert.
method is to get to truth, here's the thing though, if your method is to get to truth, now you could just be on the fence about something and not say it's a truth. So if you're if anyone is on the fence with anything, fair enough. You just don't know yet, or you're on the fence. That's fine in that wording of it. But if you're going to say this is true, then you've gone through some method to have that, you've approved it in your mind, like this is true. And so it wasn't that the original question, like the method you go about that. And if you've gone about a method right now, like if you were just on the fence about the Earth, said, well, they tell me it's a globe, I don't know for sure, I'm still looking into it, that would be one thing. But if you're believing it's a globe, like, and you're asserting it, debating it, and even debating other people, telling them they're wrong. But if your method to go about it, if in terms of the consensus and authority parts of it, like you mentioned, if that was, misguided or wrong in some way, then your method to go about truth, like you thought you acquired, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're just on the fence, you're on the fence. But if you're saying, hey, I acquired this truth, this is true, and your method of going about it led you to something that was false and it just changed next week, then how good is one's method of confirming, putting that stamp of approval that it's truth, if it, and that's why I think before, like what Lion and others were saying, the fallacious qualities of it, and these are the issues when it has,
Because
that
all of the puzzle pieces that come together to make the globe would have to be incorrect and fake.
A lot of it, yes.
Or you haven't
So
considered the properties of the phenomenon of
we've
light or something. You maybe
considered-
don't know something about light. You don't know something
You're
about
wrong,
gravity
Richie.
and the way it operates.
Wrong.
It's nothing to do with light. I
You definitely
even
don't know
look
how
at-
gravity
look at
operates, my
light.
man. So
Doesn't matter.
Nothing to do with
Doesn't
gravity.
matter, right? The observations don't match anything else other than a globe. So, if
dude,
you
your
want to go down
paradigm has
that road,
changed
we
just from
can.
Newton to Einstein. Okay.
Don't
That didn't
worry.
show. You're wrong,
I don't
Richie.
care. Don't care about that. I don't care about that.
Of course you don't care. Of course you don't
Don't
care.
care
You're
about
wrong.
I
that.
don't
No
understand
paradigm
why
has
everyone's
changed.
interested in your opinion about something when your opinion just
You're
changes
wrong,
on a
Richie.
dime.
No
Well, yeah.
paradigm has
What,
changed.
what is there another atheist maybe here that wants to share their opinion how they are able to
Who,
filter
hold on. Who are
information
you
to
calling
determine truth?
atheists? Who are the atheists, for one? You think
Yeah, I
all
don't-
globers are
I'm an
atheists?
atheist, and I put it on the
No,
side chat how I
Bebo,
determine
why would
truth.
you presume such
all
a
right,
thing?
let's
I'm
let's
asking
try to let's
So
try to
why
stick,
ask the atheists specifically?
Truth
all right,
about
because I
what?
want to hear
can
their.
we just stick with one topic at a time?
Who cares about that?
Atheism is a whole nother topic, isn't it?
No, well,
Yeah.
Gio, because I want to hear how people come to truth, right?
Okay,
And
well
everyone,
that's not. I mean, how is that linked to
Who
atheism?
cares? Nothing to
no,
do with the
because
globe.
everyone's going to have their own, right? You might have a Buddhist that has an algorithm to determine truth, and I want to hear other people who haven't shared their opinion on how they
You
filter
want to hear from
information.
atheists? You're saying?
Dude,
Yeah,
nobody cares.
there's atheists in the room here that maybe want to speak.
No,
Like Perfect
nobody
Storm. I
cares.
want to
So
hear
you
how
want to
Perfect
hear from an atheist, is what you're saying? The person has to be an atheist.
There's
No,
atheists
I'm
that believe
here.
in the globe,
I'm
and then
here
there's
to.
atheists that don't believe in the globe. So what is your point?
Are there?
Okay, he's asking
Wait,
me.
are there
Can you
any
stop
atheists that don't
interrupting?
believe in a globe?
I don't
People?
know.
Well,
There could be. I don't
I don't
know.
think there are. I don't think there is.
How do we know?
An
We
atheist,
don't know
like,
everybody. We don't know everybody on the earth.
well, dude,
There
I've been in this.
are atheists that are flat earthers, yes.
There you
Okay,
go.
well, you'd have to bring them
No.
in here, or we'll see what their position is. The only one I've ever known of is a guy named Flatmatic, and he was back on the 24/7 Flat Earth, like way in the early days. It was a different server back then too, like in 2017, 18. But this guy Flatmatic, I think he was even on this server for a while, but I don't think he's been around. Really cool guy. But he used to say the idea where he just thought, like, it's hard to steelman him, but the general idea is that it's just always been here. And there never was a creation, so there wouldn't have to be a creator. It's just always been here. It's like a cyclical, like that. It's just always existed, essentially. And so, I think he kind of was saying it was somewhat atheist in that way, meaning there's not a creator. It just has always been here. But that's different than like a Big Bang one. But that's what I'm saying. Are we shifting the topic to atheism, or were we on the how to find truth? But go ahead.
No. I want to focus on. But it's like we heard B-ball, and I want to hear someone else's opinion. Why don't we share your opinion, Gio? Do you want to go next? How do you filter information, determine if it's true or not? I'd love to hear your opinion because I know you're a wise man, and maybe the people here who don't have an answer hear yours and say, "Wow, I like that. I'm going to incorporate that." Unless, did you want to wait or did you want to go or? Because I'd love to hear.
I mean, it is a good question that I would like to hear from everyone. Really, like what everyone's views are.
Yeah.
It is interesting. Like, how do you come to what is true, and how do you go about like your epistemology and
exactly? Does anyone want to go next?
It's very
B-ball went.
broad. Like what
Can I antagonize
category?
these guys?
What's the
Go ahead,
category
Zizi.
of truth?
No. It's
Well,
about how do you take the information that's presented to you and maybe run it through an algorithm, or what sort of algorithm do you use or filter to determine if it's true or not? And I'd love to hear everyone's opinion
What true? Like what? Math? What are you talking about?
about reality. We'll start with reality.
Well,
problem.
so because you've got like the physical world of what is true in that way. You have like what is true in like morals. You would have what is true spiritually or religiously. There's all
Exactly.
these different topics. So, of
Yeah. So how do you
of how to approach that.
Yeah. So how does anyone in this room take the information that's presented you from the scientists, from the doctors, from the academics, etc., from your neighbor? How do you filter it to determine if it's true or not? Does anyone want to share their thoughts?
Well, is my mic coming through okay? First of all?
Yes. Sounded good.
Yeah, cool. Well, I guess like spiritually and morally, like I meditate and have done psychedelics and stuff to try to find what I deeply feel about things, and then that definitely informs a lot of my thinking about governments and institutions. If I think that they're behaving in ways that betray that they're immoral and don't care about people. And I don't have a very high level of trust with like media. But I don't believe that there is total global coordination. I don't see evidence of that. The world seems very chaotic. And I would assume most governments have reasons to lie a lot, but not necessarily lie the same as each other. So I just I try to read stuff when I can from very different sources all around the world, independent journalists, and aggregate some sort of triangulation of what's going on, of being like, all right, even if every source has a bias, I'm trying to kind of average through lots of different perspectives on things.
So-
if there's like an incident in a war or something, and it's like, all right, well, every faction has a spin on this, but I don't think they have the same agendas. So what is it that they're willing to agree on with each other?
So what's more likely,
The
right?
shape of the earth. The shape of the earth. Go ahead.
I'm trying to work this out. Are they all lying? What's more likely? I mean, the unlikeliness of them all lying at the same time, or the fact that the two luminaries in the sky in the cosmic pinball that you call the galaxy happen to have aligned themselves perfectly. Like that statistically needs to be borne out. So I mean, I suppose you could be a glober, but then you would have to say that some divine intervention occurs such that, like, of all the possibilities, those two balls happen to be the exact same size and line up. Otherwise, something else is
Great
going
point,
on.
Ricky. Mathematically, that's a great point. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You're saying
They're not the same size.
compared to the
They're not the same size. They can be more than 10% different.
I know, but Jake, I don't think the point was to go into the detail. I think it was the. Okay, I guess your point does. If you're saying it's.
Yeah, I mean, if it's some
it can be 10% different.
cosmic design or something like that, then they would be exactly the same size. They'd be precisely the same size. They wouldn't vary in their fucking angular diameter, and sometimes it's smaller and bigger than the other. Like,
we don't know that.
Dude, they're almost identical. I mean, it's insane. Like how exactly
that's the
it
case
would have
when
to
you
all
have
be.
annular eclipses, and you do have annular eclipses because there are times that the moon does not cover the sun.
That has to do with the nodes, the nodal points, and how different eclipses occur with the timing. But I think he's just pointing out the general thing. Like in my understanding, like if I tried to steel man it, or at least what I'm understanding of the thought, if you have the sun and the moon and the distance of the globe Earth in the heliocentric model, the claim is that through whatever you think brought it all here, but nonetheless, where the size of the sun and the moon appear almost exactly the same size, and they do these eclipses and all this. And if I were to kind of maybe add on to it, like I think what Ricky was saying, like what's the just as like a thought, either like the 99+% of humanity throughout all of time that had a stationary planar Earth were correct, and that the modern, sort of Jesuit and everything, Freemasonic, everything that's connected are actually lying about the Earth, and they're all working together to lie about it. Or that the sun and the moon happen to be the same size in the Big Bang model.
Yo, even the simulated models, bro. Even the simulated models for the 3-body problem. Even the fucking computers are like, "Yo, you're retarded. We're never gonna be able to solve this because this is retarded."
Well, this kind of goes back to how do you determine what's true or not, right? And I was just maybe if we don't want to go too far with it, I'll just say what I found on philosophynow.org. Maybe you guys will agree. It's based on like 4 axioms, or 4 foundational legs. Is it congruent? Meaning, does it match reality? Right. Another one
I can't drop the 3-body problem thing because I always get annoyed with it.
Go for it.
This thing that the three-body problem, what are you insinuating with the fact that there isn't a single equation that can calculate the three-body problem? The fact that it's a multivariable problem.
He said simulation. You cannot simulate it.
You can't
No, you
simulate
can
it, bro.
absolutely simulate it. What do you mean?
No, you can't.
Great. If you think you understand what gravity is, you input that into the simulation. You put the gravity swinging around some balls, and your three-body problem always ends up in chaos.
It always
Not the order.
fucks up.
Not the order we see in the solar system that you
We
guys
see
claim.
perfect order periodically, cyclically, bro. The sky is a fucking clock, and you're gonna say that, oh, we can't incorporate three bodies, let alone all of the solar system planets and all the other celestial bodies you guys claim to be physical and have weight? Shut the fuck up, dude. This shit doesn't work.
Just to be clear, there's no three-body solution for electromagnetic fields either. The same three-body problem.
Is it
exists
too
for
quoque, bro? I don't give a
electromagnetic.
shit. I don't care.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, but that's a fundamental. But that's something that even flat earthers agree that
Listen,
it's
you don't
fundamental.
have to say flat earther. I don't care that I don't have an answer. It's okay to not know. The point is, claiming the fucking heliocentric model is valid just because you want to. It's not valid either, bro.
I mean, you've got so much of the time, money, resources of the humanity, and you still can't solve that problem. And then you want to sort of like too cocaine, spin it around on flat Earth.
No problem to solve.
Falsification is
That's
independent of replacement, sir.
You can't solve it with one equation. That's all that's meant by it. But you can simulate it by taking all the variables into account.
All right, so on
That's
this,
how they send it. That's how they send probes. That's how they do.
all right, hold on, Jake, you're breaking up, and then I know you're probably driving or something. So just okay. I know, Lion, if you want to get in, let me just say this briefly, and then I'll pass it. Okay, so the thing is, though, if we're talking about like more of an atheist, Big Bang, randomness type of heliocentric idea, that then you can get into like that statistics of the size of the sun and the moon and all like this whole where that branched off, because then that branched off the three-body problem. But lastly, what if someone has a view where there is a creator, an intelligence, a higher intelligence, etc., that actually created the heliocentric model, and that God, or whatever you would want to call it, the supreme consciousness, etc., the supreme being, all those different phrases, actually created the heliocentric model, created the ball, created the sun, the solar system, all the different planets, and then made them specifically to have the same size. And then also in that case, with a three-body problem, just be able to be solved by a creator.
Well, you've got this proportional relationship between the sun, moon, and Earth, effectively, such that they can all eclipse one another. And then I suppose, I don't know if I'm going to directly answer you though, Gio, sorry. Anyone else has
I'm just
something?
saying, because if we're coming from like that it's all random happenstance, then but I'm just saying if someone, because I have friends who believe that the Earth, or that, think the Earth is a globe, but they also think there's a creator, many different, of that, a divine.
The problem is, what Rick was talking about is, how do you define what a star is? Like, the sun and the moon are literally the only of its kind in our sky. Did you realize that? Like, that's a huge part of the heliocentric model, is to equivocate the lights in the sky to being said physical object, right? Either some type of thing that we can land on or whatever.
Every other planet is said to have like multiple moons, basically.
It's a huge issue.
So before Kepler, right, you had Tycho Brahe, right? Tycho Brahe had his own conception of the cosmos. It's just didn't have the sun at the center.
Model. Yep.
Right. So you could solve the three-body problem, but you would have to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate what's actually going on up there. But if you're gonna insist that you need elliptical orbits, that you need eccentric elliptical orbits with eccentricity, right? And relativity. Good luck trying to figure that out. I don't think they'll ever be able to solve it. They would literally have to go back to the drawing board. It would undermine their whole model.
To do it on a strictly dynamic physics-based level? Is that
right?
Yeah.
They've put restrictions according to their paradigm, right? They have to include elliptical orbits, eccentric orbits, asymmetrical orbits.
Yeah, so that's where you're saying the three-body problem part falls apart in terms of the actual physics, and having to come up with a model where there's like a mechanical set of forces that all fit to account for it, which is where the dark matter problem comes in too. Are you, but are you saying that's like a dead end road? Is that what you're saying? Like you'll never be able to? But then, because are you responding to, but is the 3-body problem not a problem if there's just an ultimate creator that created it and made the bodies do what they're doing?
Yeah, there's a rational, reasonable, logical way to make the 3-body problem work. It would require like an intricate, irreducibly complex design that could have come about by a probabilistic chance, like smashing planets together and just causing the 3-body problem to have this synchronous orbit that's cyclical and consistent for millions of years. That's not going to happen.
That's true. Yeah, the pattern of the sky becomes reconcilable once you admit that there's a pattern maker, which means that it doesn't matter what we observe in terms of laws of physics. And all we're doing is observing it. We can't actually know the cause. And having just a materialistic paradigm, you're never going to know the actual cause. You only make your best guess, which is why B-ball is sucked into the psyop of thinking, well, it's just the best new evidence we got, which means he'll never actually be able to come to truth, because if the opinion always changes, then that means what you thought was true before isn't true now, which means you didn't have the truth back then, which means you were in error back then, which means you don't know if you're in error right now.
And that means they might not have the method to find truth.
Which is what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
That's why I think it's important for everybody here to maybe find or sharpen their filter on how to filter information, right? I think it's very important, because either truth could lead, lies could lead to death, in my opinion.
Hey, speaking of which, I just tuned in, but I heard Jake saying something about the 3-body problem exists even if it's electromagnetic. So I looked into it a little bit, and it seems like because they're treating it as an attraction between the planets or around the sun, right? So like they're locked into it. It all has to be orbiting the sun still, and it has to be orbits in this certain way. And even if it's electromagnetic, they're gonna attract each other, and the 3-body problem still exists. But if it's an electromagnetic field that they all run on, independent of each other, not attracted to each other or working off of each other's masses in the same way the heliocentric model has us locked into thinking. And it doesn't take away from the design of it. It could be very intricate in the way that they circuit through the electromagnetic fields in both areas, the south and the north. So there's no 3-body problem necessarily if it's a circuit, is all I'm saying. It's not masses that are orbiting each other.
Yeah. So let me try to steel man what you're kind of trying to say, if I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, let's say for a moment the sky was, let's just say it's a hypothetical. Let's say it's a fluid, and the stars are like bubbles in the fluid, and the bubbles are moved around by an electrostatic force, and that electrostatic force is like the brain, like infinitely complex. I mean, what is, the neurons, everything that's going on, that the sky. But if it's like that, are you saying that with an electrostatic type field, that it could essentially just do what it's doing, and be observable the way that it is? But if you try to put that into like a mechanistic framework with mass or some of these attractive, that you'll never be able to fit it into a mechanistic, because it has that like almost like a irreducibly complex nature to it?
Well, if it's mass attracting mass, and that's kind of like the default, that the globe model says, and then I think Jake was implying that if it wasn't a magnetic attraction, that it would still exist. But if
that'd be space-time.
they could still have mass though, and just have a certain charge and run their certain pattern through the circuit that isn't dependent on each other's mass. It's just the circuit and charge, and maybe their mass is included in the cycle that they have. Like I was saying,
but it changes. That's the real problem, though. Like, what's the temperature of the air right now? Oh wait, what's the temperature of the air right now? Did it change? It's too dynamic. It changes all the time. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's definitely subtle things that happen. It's not like it's completely consistent. There's changes that we observe, with the oscillations of the sun and everything. Everything has a little bit of a change. They have their precessions, and they all have
precessions, oscillations, vibrations.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all dynamic.
I'm not trying to say it's not designed or dynamic. I'm saying it's definitely dynamic, but the dynamics can have a cyclical nature to them, obviously, because there's cycles.
Well, and they
course, you
need
could have
the dark matter thing is a factor. So why they
So
need,
what I'm talking
like,
about is
hold on,
Newton's
Jake.
gravity equation is identical to Coulomb's electrostatic equation because the two fields are precisely the same in terms of their interaction versus their distance. And if you're trying to map out an electrostatic like an electrostatic orbit, like in the zero G drop tower, where you're observing like water, electrostatic water droplets orbiting one another, you will have the identical behavior that you have gravitationally with the planets. You still have the same three-body problem. It's fundamental to the forces of nature.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't
that's
need
not what I was
orbits.
saying,
We
though.
just
Hold on.
describe like
Yeah.
motion or energy in motion through a
We
circuit.
don't. There's no
You know what
weight.
I
Yeah, that's
mean?
what I was pointing out, by the
The
way, Jake.
circuit here,
I was pointing out that you have to interpret it as they're all orbiting the sun, just like the heliocentric model says, or they're all orbiting each other or working off each other's masses. But if it's an electromagnetic circuit and it has a certain charge and it runs on a certain part of the circuit because of its charge, and it has a certain cycle that's dynamic, that has oscillations that aren't necessarily always consistent, but they, have a way of coming back around to where they started. That's what seems to be going on.
no, because not everything is orbiting the sun. Like 3i Atlas and
No,
Uma were not orbiting the sun, right?
I'm not
They
saying that.
flew
I'm
through the
saying
solar
you're saying
system.
that they
They
are.
were deflected. They were gravitationally deflected, but they were not in orbit around the sun.
I'm not saying everything's orbiting around the sun. I'm saying that's the way the ball model has you locked into thinking it must work, even if it's magnetic. It's got to be some kind of attractive force, magnetic, electromagnetic thing, or electrostatic. So the Coulomb's law replaced in space. I think that Coulomb's law, as far as energy or as far as gravity being exchanged with the electromagnetic force, from what we hear, know on Earth, that's a workable, especially with electrostatics and possibly giving a preference for the downward force or whatever. But I mean, it's not like I'm saying I have it all figured out. I'm saying it wouldn't work. It wouldn't have the three-body problem in the same way you're thinking if it was a circuit that everything was running on. It doesn't depend on these things being attracted or repelled from each other.
Well, that's what I was saying, like giving the idea. Are you saying something? I'm not saying you're saying it is a fluid with bubbles that are illuminated bubbles or anything. I was just trying to say the general idea of whatever the stars are. You're just saying if they're in their own field with their own electrostatic. That's why I was trying to relate it to like the idea of like the human brain. But is that what you're
Well, last
alluding
night,
to?
did you hear me
There wouldn't be
explaining?
any
Last
issue
night,
if it was all just like pulsating in its energy field. There would be no issue. It's the issue
like,
comes to put a mechanistic framework on it.
well, I was just explaining the way E1 thought it actually works. He seems to be, I don't know, he seems pretty confident about that. There's certain things about the stars and the way that the sun. And last night I was telling this to ZZ Top that he if he had to guess, he would say that the stars are actually made of some kind of mercury substance, and when the sun comes around, they like just like a fluorescent light, where it has a little ball of mercury, and then when you turn the light on, that dissipates throughout the tube, and that's what creates the fluorescent light. And then when you turn it off, it coagulates back to where it was. I think that was pretty interesting that mercury even acts that way, that it would go back to its little ball form in the side of the fluorescent light. But I guess that's what it does. And he was saying that if the sun actually excites these little, like it's a lattice structure for the electromagnetic field, and like there's cross, areas where that electromagnetic field has a little nodule where two of the paths cross, and like those stars then would be kind of like embedded in their mercury state into these little nodules, and then when the sun comes around, they actually aren't there because they act like a fluorescent light. And like, so when it's daylight out, it's not like you just can't see the stars. The stars are actually like creating all the colors and everything from the mercury kind of dissipating and then going back to where they were. It's kind of a crazy idea. But then he said that the sun he thought was made of tungsten and some kind of other metal that would it's a heavier metal. It takes longer to charge, and he has this whole thing about how the moon is probably made of like a phosphorus aluminum substance, and that would take less time to charge, and it goes through its circuit. It has it like 11 analemas for every one sun analema. So the way he explains it is that they charge up in the south, And once they're charged up enough, they can make their way to the north, and they're going in between those two toroidal donuts is what makes that H-shaped analemma. And the sun does it once a year, and the moon does it, 11 or 13 times or whatever for that, 11 point whatever times. And so the materials, what he's talking about, that the material of the moon takes less time to charge, and it runs through the circuit faster. And the moon and the sun takes longer to charge, but it has a longer duration throughout the year. I mean, there's a possible mechanical explanation that could be true, but the fact that he thinks it's a mass that's actually running on the circuit, and he thinks that's what happens with the satellites too. They're using the electromagnetic field to deploy real satellites, and they just run the circuit like we see the patterns with. So it does make sense if that's what's going on to some degree.
Okay, so you're saying that the it's a mass up there? You use
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he said that. I don't
Oh.
know. I have no idea. I couldn't possibly know. But that's an interesting idea.
I have a question.
It wouldn't be dependent on each other's mass. Like the ball model has to have the three body problem because it's all about orbiting each other, and that doesn't work because the three body problem would come off if it's electromagnetics or gravity or whatever,
Yeah, and
but if it's a circuit, it would be different. Yeah.
No, I hear you on that, and those are all very interesting points, which could all be like gone into more as well. Now, but I'll just say this, and Andrew wanted to get in. It sounded like, but I'll just briefly, I want to say that with the sky, and this could be another topic we could go into as well, but just very briefly, like, because you're talking about the sky and the three body. If you have like a planetarium, and that planetarium has that 180-degree dome, and then you can replicate the stars. Essentially, that's always what the sky looks like to us, is like a hemisphere of stars that you're in the middle of. So whether you walk 10 feet to the left, right, you're always getting one. And that's what Stellarium is, basically. It's just a massive database of like every kind of latitude, longitude position and what the sky looks like from that position. So that's why like it just doesn't seem to me like the sky functions like just a flat ceiling. Although I know there are some arguments for that, but it seems like it's like a hemispherical region that like follows us as we walk around on the earth. And then that's why it can be so like in my viewpoint like completely misinterpreted as a globe, because it is like an equal radius hemisphere of the sky. But how is that actually working? Like, how is that actually manifesting? So like when you're talking about it being like a mass up there, I was saying like if it's like bubbles or some kind of physical, like as if we're in just a huge warehouse, I just don't think the sky functions like that. Like if you were in a massive warehouse, like a Costco that was the size of the United States, and the lights were all like at a parallel height above the ground, it wouldn't look like the ground. It wouldn't look like the Earth looks to us. And that's why some of these globe arguments can be somewhat, they think, strong because of that fact. And that goes to the celestial sphere and how that's misinterpreted to the globe. But there is something about that, to the point to where some of these like trigonometry debunks that they try to say about like, oh, well, if the sun was 3,000 miles, and then like the last time MC2 was in here, he's like, I've falsified flat Earth, and he was just going off that idea that if you just put the sun at like a physical position above the Earth, he thinks it doesn't match with XYZ, therefore he falsified the whole thing. So yeah, the sky is really like the key to the whole realm. I mean, the ground is just what the ground is. But anyways, yeah, sorry, I know it's a whole additional thing, but it just made me think of a lot of that. And then, whether those things are like a mass or not, and then how the three body problem plays into that, like how the sky actually appears to us as well. It's all kind of interconnected. But yeah.
It's crazy that the three body problem, that's just on that, not about the alternative real quick, but just that, that is a problem. It's not just like, oh, we have a mathematical solution with Lagrange points and we can, it's only mathematically, derived, possible with these caveats of, parking spots and space that make it possible. That is like really, really stretching for an answer. That is a big problem.
That's you can literally demonstrate the same thing with like electrostatically charged droplets circulating on a plate in a fluid, and you could simulate exactly the same. You could simulate the Lagrange points. You could use the same equations to solve the three body problem of multiple, electrostatically charged droplets orbiting one another in a fluid.
That's where they got it from. That's where they got their whole model from, is actual electrostatics. We already know.
So Gio, what are your thoughts on the possibility that there might be just multiple layers to the stars, even though it might be a flat plane above us as well that we perceive as a dome due to our perspective? Meaning the stars are at various distances, but you might, let's say, the conception of like 7 heavens, right? So you have maybe 7 different various levels or layers in which the stars might reside. So that could certainly account for, parallax and things like that.
Yeah, that's definitely very interesting with that whole idea with it. Now, are you saying that the layers of a like planar layers above a planar Earth, would that account for like the planetarium style, hemisphere of sky we see in terms of the way things rise and set? And then also like that's on an azimuthal grid, so it's on a flat grid. Like the stars are already mapped to flat grids. It's already a thing. It's already been done. It has been. But nonetheless, so are you saying that the layers could account for that planetarium style hemispherical motion of it as well, or what are your
No, I
thoughts
think it
on that?
might just account. I think it might just account for maybe the possibility of parallax, meaning
Yeah.
that you have various distances, right? It's not just a singular layer at which the stars reside in at one distance, but they might be layers that are just, various heights from the surface, even though it's all flat. All the layers are flat, the surface is flat, everything's flat. But as we know, like perspective is what's giving us the illusion of this like hemispherical dome, meaning we're drawing all those points back to a singular observer based on their position.
Yeah. No, I got you. And the parallax thing is interesting with if the stars are on different levels, as well. Although I think if they were all on different levels though, like as they're setting, like if you're watching like one of those star occlusions, like from the celestial theodolite, for example, but like when the star's occluding like that, you know how it like moves? Well, it does start to get less than 15 degrees an hour when it gets down to the horizon, but yeah, like
I've never seen a
that-
star actually set. I only see the sun and the moon set. I see stars that disappear before they even come close to the horizon.
That's interesting, unless it's with a mountain, like the mountain, because like
Correct. Like over the ocean, you don't see stars set right at the horizon point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that all my times of observing that. Yeah, well, the moon doesn't really like set the same way the sun does either, although sometimes it can. But you know how the moon just like fades away sometimes? Like it doesn't always have that like intense, half cut off kind of thing to it. So the moon is interesting as well.
Well, on the sun and the moon, it depends on the humidity and how many clouds and stuff are in the way. But for stars, they're so dim that I don't think they could punch through the atmosphere right at the horizon, even on a clear day.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think how. Yeah, they kind of more just like fade away.
Have you looked into like the moon's illumination and how it seems to locally illuminate the clouds? Which is I still can't quite get my head around that one.
The
and it's completely invisible for a new moon.
Well, you could do the same thing by turning on your cell phone camera and holding a sheet of paper right in front of it, like 2 inches in front of the flashlight, not the camera.
It's a torch, and it's channeling the light, not like the moon, which is going in all directions.
I mean, well, that's an interesting topic as well.
It's lighting up the whole paper. Oh, sorry, Drew.
No, go ahead. I was gonna, I just briefly, whether we touch back on it, I was just gonna say to Napalm, like whatever the sky is, I like the layers are such a universal thing, like pretty much throughout all ancient humanity since the dawn of time. Like, so yeah, I think whatever it is, I'm. If you're suggesting there's likely layers, I'm with you on that. I think it's very likely there are layers.
Yeah, I think it's all just set up by, sure, if you want to call it mass or vibration or whatever you want to call it. I think it's all just, it all finds its equilibrium based on, its vibratory resonance or, its density. However you want to look at that is my opinion. It all kind of stacks up.
Yeah, I was trying to, I guess, briefly interject that, Matthew. We could go more on that, but Matthew, were you going to say your point from what that was?
I was just going to say that if you held up a sheet of paper like 1 inch from your cell phone torch or flashlight, you'll notice that, if you're looking, if you have the sheet of paper in front of it, you'll notice that it lights up part of the paper more than the whole paper. And so that's something similar is what's happening when the moon is lighting up clouds or the sun is.
That's our model for the sun, being a torch basically in the sky, of not that far away, and the light's not coming in parallel, and therefore Eratosthenes is wrong. But then you're happy to import that for the moon?
What's it made of?
Yeah, like the sun's light is radial, essentially.
Yeah,
and it's
and so is the
What's the
moon.
sun made of?
So basically, what's like in my view, what's happening with Eratosthenes, they're going to say, "Oh, the stick's in the ground. Earth is a ball. The sun rays are parallel, and the sun's really far away. Therefore, Earth's a ball, Earth's a sphere." But the other side of what I think is what actually is happening is that you have a planar Earth, and then the light from the sun is radial, and therefore the radial nature of the light is what has the spherical nature to it. The ground is planar, but they just inverted it. They took the planar nature and they said the sun's light is planar. And then they're going to make that, I think, false conclusion that the Earth is the one that's curving based on that. That's why Eratosthenes is still problematic.
Crepuscular rays, right? What is that thing where it's like the simplest answer is true? What do they call that one?
Occam's razor?
Is it Occam's? Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it would suggest anyway that your sun is a torch.
What is the torch made of?
Radial light, plasma.
Okay.
You think you know what your sun's made of? You think it's made of helium or something?
By the way, it's
No,
Occam's razor and the law of postmodernity.
I would also say plasma. So
cool.
That's good.
It's scissors, paper, rock, and we just both landed on scissors or something. Next.
Some think
Can I
it's
just
an
put-
opening, like whatever's above us, that the sun is actually an opening.
Well, that's a much more exotic idea.
Yeah, and then the light is radially coming out from that opening, which is pretty interesting. Or like a focal point, a nodal point. Meaning in that case, it wouldn't really have to be like a physical thing. Like it couldn't be something you could go up there and like get a sample of, or you could go hit it with something or anything like that. Like it's actually something that's even beyond our comprehension fully. I mean, if we can't, even in the heliocentric model, well, I guess they do kind of claim that they try to probe the sun or they try to send things at it. But in that model. But
the reason I don't think it's an opening is because there's
it may be an opening that's just beyond what humans can ever access. We can only just see it and observe it. Go ahead.
Can I just put this out?
Yeah, I was just going to say that there's sunspots, so I don't think that it's an opening. And also, if you've ever looked at it with the hydrogen alpha telescope, it doesn't look like an opening.
What if the sunspots are just polarization in the opening? Polarization of light in the opening.
I suppose, but they look like spots. Anyway, go ahead.
Does the sun actually spin on an axis?
Well, they say it does in lieu
yeah.
of the sunspots cycling. The sunspots cycle, but it could be seen as more of like a phasing effect, not necessarily a rotating sphere. That's another thing that, because if you have a field that's in a phase effect that's rotating, you could have that effect, and it wouldn't necessarily be a sphere, but it would still have that phasing, cyclical nature to it.
So what are like flares then that you can see through a telescope on the surface? Well, what are those?
I think the sun is electric. So yeah, these toroidal flares and different.
They're not toroidal shaped though.
A lot of them are.
It doesn't need to be
during an
toroidal.
eclipse. During an eclipse, the whole outline of the sun is toroidal as well. But yeah,
It doesn't need to be toroidal.
You can see the magnetic field lines.
Cool.
But
Nobody knows that the sun spins, like it doesn't spin on an axis.
It looks like it does.
You can see the sunspots are basically moving across the surface of it, which indicates a rotation of sorts.
If it
Yeah, but you
rotates,
can't-
who gives a shit? The fact is, no one has ever been up there. All we have are telescopes and our eyeballs to look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If the sun,
if you observed,
if the
I was
sun
just
was
gonna
spinning, shouldn't you get a red shift and a blue shift on either side of it?
Yeah.
It'd be
but
coming towards
not
you
much.
and away from you. So
That's
shouldn't you
making an
see?
assumption. That's a leading
Yeah,
question.
Yeah, but
but
I'm
even-
just saying, like, you don't know whether it's spinning or not. If it
Yeah,
was
because even a
spinning,
sunspot moving could be if you observe Earth from a distance, right? Let's say you observe a storm on the Earth. If the storm is moving, it doesn't necessarily necessitate that the Earth is moving. So a sunspot could move across the surface. doesn't necessitate that the sun's actually moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, if the
And,
sun's not moving, how can it? How do you know it's not moving?
That's what I was saying. Like it could be a phasing effect, like something. You know how like musical notes go across the page and as they're going, or like any of those like, things where like a player piano, all that kind of. So, like,
Can I ask a question? With dark matter, right? They say you can't detect it, you can't measure it, it's not there. So that would mean that out in space there's dark matter. So wouldn't that mean that there's dark matter in our galaxy?
Yeah,
That you can't detect,
everywhere. Yeah,
can't see, you can't
Well,
detect it.
They wanted
Wait
to
a minute.
detect it.
Wait a minute. What else can't you detect and measure?
curvature,
The ether.
motion.
No, ether.
You can measure curvature.
I like that
So
answer.
You can
if there's
measure curvature and motion, but okay.
yeah, I'm not on that. But if you can't measure the dark matter and the dark matter is here, that means you've got mass or you've got something. What I'm trying to say is like space is not then a vacuum. It's got something in it, which is dark matter. So then when you're trying to measure to the sun or measure somewhere else, you're actually measuring through the dark matter, aren't you?
Oh God, seriously.
What?
Solar system works. The
Are you
solar
saying?
system
Are you
works.
saying that they're? Are you saying that they're like occluding ether by using dark matter as a replacement, and they're actually? Is that what you're saying? That they're actually like trying to distract?
Oh.
Like if
Yeah,
the
but
effect
what I'm
that's
saying
needed,
is
if the effect that's needed, I'm just trying to see it like steel man. If this is what you're asking, are you? I'm not trying to make this
Yeah.
claim. I'm just saying, are you saying that they're like trying to hide ether or distract from it or replace it or in some way with the dark matter like this? It's like an unknown variable that
Yeah, that's right.
is needed to make
Right.
it all work. And are you suggesting that it like they're hiding ether and then using the dark matter to distract from it or anything like that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I wouldn't say hiding it. I'd just say, well, they're so far out on their measurements. Like, what are they supposed to be? 97% out, and the rest of it's supposed to be dark matter. Well, that dark matter is not just out in space; it must be here also.
You
So
know
if
it.
there's dark matter here,
Does you don't
then
know what dark matter is. If you don't know what dark matter is, and the solar system works quite well.
That's
Solar
what I'm
Let's just
saying.
let him
works
finish
quite
his point.
well without
But what I'm saying is you
dark
can't
matter.
detect it.
All right, hold on, real quick. Hold on, Doc. Other people want to get in, so if you could just at least be concise enough at some point. But yeah, just go ahead and say your full point so we can understand it.
Yeah,
But at the same time,
what I'm
I
saying.
just want to get in.
What I'm saying is that if the dark matter is in outer space, it has to be in here too.
Yeah.
So that means that somewhere in space around us is dark matter.
That's what they say. Yeah, it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is the amount that would be in our solar system is so small and diffuse that it's essentially immeasurable.
Never been detected. Another
You can't
scaling
measure it.
power.
How do you know?
Immeasurable.
It's in the same reason why,
Unfalsifiable.
like, if you take a scale that doesn't like read in like milligrams, you can sprinkle some salt on it, you still wouldn't measure anything, right? You have a limit to your ability to
Unfalsifiable.
measure stuff.
Like Chad says,
Yeah.
it's so big it's flat.
No, it's so big. So big.
do like that one. Yeah.
So big it looks flat. I'll agree with Chad.
It's an
Chad forgets the word
infrared.
"looks" when he says that, though.
What's a circle
Well,
of
it's
infrared?
kind of
How
like
would you
the same
describe a
thing, but
circle of
it's kind of
infinite
like the
radius?
same thing. Like looking at the air in your room, right? It looks completely clear, but we know that when we're looking through miles and miles of air, it accumulates, and then you can notice that it might be hazy or whatever.
Is
right?
it
Like,
immeasurable, or do you have the belief that it will be measured one day?
Who, me?
I'm not a big proponent of
Jake?
dark matter, but
Okay, you do
I'm just
realize
sort of.
I think there's something else going on with dark matter. I think there's probably that gravity probably behaves differently at galactic scales.
Hell yeah.
It's electric. Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's
Definitely
why.
not electric.
definitely
Not
electric.
electric.
It's definitely not electric because electricity works very well. Electricity works very well at small distances, and we're talking huge distances. So
Yeah, that's just a
Small
matter of
and big
insulation.
yeah, but like compared to what? Like what's big to something else is small to something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
compared
You
to
got
anything,
you got pulsars.
gravity works. I mean, excuse me, electricity works well at scales of like feet instead of like.
Well, dude, there's a whole like a vertical gradient of voltage potential like in
how
the
much
air that you're
amperage is there?
breathing right now.
And
Tell
how
me
much
what you
amperage?
more. Tell me more what you know, bro.
And how much amperage is there?
Not a lot, but I mean, how do you
Exactly.
measure
Thank
it?
you very
You're
much.
inside of the system. Like,
Thank you very
if you
much.
know
There's no
anything,
amperage. Yeah. Right. We know
if
that.
you know
Yeah.
anything
Enough
about
to run a
electrical
Corona
detection,
motor.
true.
Yeah, but
And if you know
Well,
anything
yeah,
about
but what can
electrical
a Corona
values,
motor
if you're
actually
inside the
do?
circuit, you
A
can't get the
lot less. A
potentiation
lot
properly
less than
if
it
you're
matters.
inside the circuit.
You can run a Corona motor, but a Corona motor is like worthless. Doesn't do no torque or anything.
But it's
Yeah, like
evidence
you,
of
no
the
torque.
electrical nature of the Atmos.
You got
Yeah,
low torque,
Yeah, I mean,
not really.
chili.
some of this is kind of legend at this point, but there is the claim that essentially back during like in Tesla and before, like that they had like these what they call oscillators, and the oscillators are what allowed you to pull the electricity directly from the ether, essentially, and get all the torque and all of the wattage and amperage and voltage that are high enough to basically do everything that's needed. But
It's
that's
a harnessing or a
the
capturing.
oscillator.
Like you got to get the right frequency. It's like a tuning fork of sorts, right? Like you get the right frequency, and all of a sudden that thing starts to sing for you.
Excellent.
Yeah, with
Where
the
is it?
oscillators, there was like a back and forth effect that it built it up through it, and that my
Do you really-
understanding. It's
do you
not
really-
fully known though, because it maybe already has been hijacked from us. And I mean, there's even the idea that they're using that now, and that our electrical grid, or at least a lot of it, is actually coming from that. But that's a whole other theory. Go ahead.
Do you really think that Tesla discovered something and they hid it from everybody?
Yeah, dude. J.P. Morgan, they all took over. Yeah, they took over.
Yeah,
clear.
right. I'm sorry.
Why do you
I
have
forgot-
like an evil boss laugh in like some sort of 19 sort of Super Nintendo game that I used to play or something?
Sorry. I think I forgot I'm
better
talking
than
to
everyone else.
I forgot I'm talking to super conspiracy theory guys. So
There's no reason for an evil laugh, sir.
I just
That's a
forgot
great
I'm
laugh,
talking
David.
super conspiracy last.
Hey, by the way, unless someone wants to keep going on that, but can I just say this is from before? Napalm, I was going to say, if you're still here, is Napalm still here? Yeah. Just, it was from my mind from before, is with the idea of the celestial bodies being on layers. Well, one thing with the sun and the moon, to me, that seemed to really support that there may actually be layers. Now, yeah, like whether these things are openings in a material, or whether they're like superfluid, or whether, they're physical, tangible, etc. Like what they are is a whole interesting question. However, with the sun and the moon and the phases, as the phases occur, the moon basically is like tilted 5 degrees one way or the other, which that's why in the globe model they say that the orbit of the moon around the Earth is tilted 5 degrees to the ecliptic. That's what they have to account for in that model to account for that. But the thing is sometimes you're looking at the moon, like the shadow looks like it's like looking like up and to the right, and then other times it's looking like it's going down and to the right. So the way that the phase, like the